Greetings, sentient beings. This broadcast is not intended for children. There will be strong language and adult themes. So, with me tonight, of course, we have Godless Sewing.
Hello, hello.
And lots of room for anyone else who wants to jump in here.
Yeah, I'm at like 50%, guys. Go get vaccinated. Oh, I thought I turned that down. I'm not feeling well. And
I had to mute the YouTube channel on mine, but I can't do it until it actually starts on YouTube.
My phone is so tricky. Apple iPhones are funny that way. I recently got sick from a human being who was not vaccinated in any way, shape, or form, and I've been sick for 2 weeks because of it. So get vaccinated.
So in the side chat, I saw that I saw something from Dick Dawson, but then he didn't respond. And Mark Caesar, and I don't know who David E. Taylor is. Somebody new here.
Awesome.
Yeah, I was fully vaccinated in May, but I still wound up getting it.
I am,
but at least that since I was vaccinated before I got exposed, at least it kept me out of the hospital, and I was just miserable at home for a couple of weeks.
Oh, the Kings just tied it up. Sorry, it's Sportsball night, so my phone will be letting me know periodically when my team scores. It's
is this the one that uses an actual ball, the one that uses the weird elliptical thing, or the one that doesn't use a ball at all and it's just the flat wafer thing?
It's hockey. You just show up with your skates. You don't even need a stick. You just come to fight. It's probably the most one of the most manly sports that's left. If there is such a toxic way to call a sport, but hockey is hardcore.
Yeah, my favorite hockey anecdote was when they asked when they were looking at I'm blanking on the name of the school at Notre Dame, that they were looking at options for sports teams, and somebody suggested hockey, and the dean of the school said the school will have no part in any game that puts a club in the hands of an Irishman.
When I was a kid, I rooted for Notre Dame because I was told to, because I grew up in a very Catholic environment. We would go watch them play at SC every year they came. I had a Notre Dame jersey. I grew up in the Rocket Ishmael era. Talk about propaganda in sports.
Yeah, Mark's asking, did I recover quickly? It took me about 2.5 weeks. Actually, probably more like 3 weeks. It's hard for me to say when I first started getting it, because most of the symptoms are the same as my allergies. Oh, and there's Brantley. Oh, hey, Sal. Sal, I also already sent you a link on Discord as well, if you wanted to hop in here.
I had to make sure the volume was off on that. I've been switching everything around because I want people to be able to see me. So I'm working on new angles here.
Yeah, I just stopped having symptoms about 3 days ago, so I'm still quarantining. That sloth girl's the only one I'm having any contact with. Staying home. Gonna wait at least a few more days before I try going out anywhere. I know they said it's safe now after 5 days, but that sounded very political, and I'm not trusting it.
They're doing that for the anti-vaxxers and everybody. Hey, Sal.
Hi, Sal. Well, they're doing that for the corporations that were shorthanded on employees. So, yeah, again, it's all about putting the money over safety.
They're trying to save
capitalism. How's it going, guys? Happy New Year.
Happy New Year.
Happy New Year. Yeah, I
Sorry, I'm
saw
late.
your
You saw mine?
your frustration about the clouds getting in your way.
Yeah. It's
You
actually
know,
cloudy right now also.
we had this same problem the other day. I woke up at 4:30 to see the ISS pass over with my telescope, and it was cloudy.
Well, I saw a video, events in the night sky coming up for 2022. And
Mhm.
they gave all these awesome things that are going to happen, moon with Jupiter, all sorts of things. And somebody wrote in the comments, well, now we know which days are going to be cloudy.
Yeah. It's sad but true. They used to be more predictable. Like I would always get up for meteor showers, and they were just spectacular. But now it seems like they're less predictable, unless you're up at 3:30 in the morning, like I usually am.
Yeah, when
Yeah.
I was in Michigan, it was pretty good for watching the meteor showers because there aren't any big cities up there, so it didn't take much to get outside the city lights.
Even here with all the light pollution, we still get a good show, But lately, it just seems like they've been off.
Yeah, and
I
my
don't
sister's
have light
partner had a
pollution.
pretty nice telescope. I mean, it wasn't a big one, but it was probably like a 400 power or something.
I have to go
That
look.
sounds
I'm
nice.
ridiculous. I'm ridiculous. I bought quite a few telescopes because I'm like, I'm selfish. You can have one, I'll have one, we'll have one over here. Point this one at Cassiopeia. For some reason, well, not for some reason. I know for a very good reason. You can see Cassiopeia most times of the year from my house.
Wow.
And so, I'm the Cassiopeia tour guide.
Well, talking telescopes, we should have Dick Dawson in here.
It's a West Coast kind of thing. And
Yeah,
the little
I'm the
pictures.
bottom of the barrel. I just use my cell phone.
I do
Yeah,
as
but you
well.
get some impressively good pictures with that.
6 or 7 years ago, my cousin was being asinine. It bothered him because I was pointing out every constellation in the sky. And he walks up to me and he's like, "Welcome to the modern era." And he showed me an app on his phone that was a star map.
Yeah.
I have one, I consider it cheating because I grew up with charts and telescopes.
I
But
was just going to say that. These days people have all these things at their fingertips. I usually say, in my videos, you need an app, you can go find the app, you
Yep.
know? You guys know Carl gave me that laptop, and I am struggling to work on it. Okay, I haven't used like a computer or laptop in more than 10 years. I've been using this phone. And using the smartphone, you just search something on the Google Play Store and you can find hundreds of apps doing that thing that you want. Ain't so on the laptop. So I decided I'm just going to stick to editing on my phone until I figure all of that out.
Hey, it works for you. You get results.
absolutely.
Yeah, last night I got this half of the top half of the sky was clear, and the bottom half of the sky and the part just meeting the horizon, it was cloudy and lightning.
Oh,
So
awesome.
I look for footage like that. It's not my fault flat earthers talk nonsense.
Like I always say, I look at them like a Betamax, like you still exist. Like they're actually around. I have yet to see someone stand up and be like, "I'm a proud flat earther." I think it's more of a troll thing, no? Or do people like truly believe the earth is flat?
There are some people apparently who truly believe the earth is flat, and the flat earthers aren't the same as the geocentrists, is from what I understand. Because the flat earthers say everything is above the earth in a dome. Like I've actually heard them say that the earth
Yeah.
is the floor of the universe.
Oh,
Like below us, there's nothing, and everything is above us. Like layers
Yeah,
of
most flat
heaven.
earthers are taking a very literal biblical interpretation. So they take that verse out of the Bible about the earth being set on 4 pillars and there being a dome of the firmament over it.
Yes, yes. And I think they're taking it a little bit too far now. Maybe the geocentrists have a little bit of more of a closer idea to reality than the flat earthers, because things rise and set. So it looks like things are coming up from below the horizon and going over your head and going below the opposite horizon. It looks like that. So maybe they have a little bit of a point. But the flat earthers, I mean, things rise and set. And for them, the objects moving is only perspective. That's all
Okay.
it is. It's nothing else.
I gotta address something in the side chat. Vibrant Brantley saying birds aren't real. Penguins are
isn't real?
birds, so if birds aren't real, who's guarding the ice wall to keep the flat earthers away from it?
man, I live in the southwest of America. There are birds everywhere here, especially this time of year. Birds are real and they're pooping all over.
Oh no,
four of
you
my
you
cars.
haven't heard that conspiracy, have you?
Oh,
I see.
Yeah,
I
that,
have.
that all of the birds were eliminated in the 60s, and they're all drones from the government now.
I have.
drones from the government. No, Purple. That's not what they are. They are aliens shape-shifting into birds. That's what that is.
You guys, I'm not even saying this to be nice. When I was younger, I did a lot of drugs, and not even on drugs would I think that birds weren't real. And I've taken a ton of acid in my life. People, that's insane. You're insane. I'm sorry. I will not entertain any of that.
And then how many times as you're walking down the street, a bird has actually literally tried to crash into you?
You know what? I've been pooped on by many a birds because I have awnings at my house. I live in California. There's birds everywhere here.
Yeah. Yeah, birds fly
I'm really-
into my house.
Oh,
For some reason, because if you see my videos, you'll see that there's the church and a little field.
mm-hmm.
And the birds that fly around here live in this field. They in the trees and all of that. And for some reason, they fly straight into my house. And the door is like a little bit bigger than a standard door. And they fly in, and it's a wide open big door. And they will never find their way back out.
Same at the shop at my job. It drives me insane. I'm trying to help them. I'm like, get out of here, you stupid bird. Because they fly in it's a giant 35-foot door. So you can't miss it. But
Yeah.
I feel bad because if you're still in there 4 o'clock on a Friday, bird, I'm not coming back until Monday. I'll leave some Cheez-Its out for you. But I'm not coming back.
Well,
Yeah, I came home one time to find one of my cats had brought a live bird in, and it was flapping around in the upstairs bathroom.
Oh,
Yeah, and I took all the window screens out, and I couldn't get it out of there. And it took me like an hour to catch the thing in a plastic wastebasket so I could take it outside.
Birds are hardcore, actually.
Yes.
Have you ever encountered a pissed off blue jay? They are the most ornery animal.
There's a bat there's only one. I don't know. There are like 2 bats that fly around here. I don't see more. Usually bats are like in groups, big groups, but they are like only 2. And they come in here. They come out just after the sun goes down, and they come in here, they fly in, and then they fly out. And we've got gaps. Okay, this building was built very shoddy. So there are like little holes where bats are very tiny, guys. If you make your hand into a fist, it's smaller than the fist. It's very tiny. And so I don't know what happened. My son has this little picture that he drew on. It's like that wooden frame with a canvas on it. We moved the canvas and that bat is sleeping behind the canvas. And he was angry at us, hey, for moving the canvas. He showed his teeth and everything like, it was very cute.
We have bats around here because there's hills by my house and there's caves everywhere. So we have it's awesome to see at dusk when you see the bats flying around. It's actually really awesome to see.
I love dusk.
I'm really bad at conspiracy theories because I'm a bit of a realist and I'm a bit of a nihilist. Like you, if I've seen something and it's real, I'm gonna fight for it. But if it's not real, I'm probably gonna end up laughing in your face. I'm not
like chemtrails, guys. I mean, you know, chemtrails. I don't know what causes that crisscross cloud shape in yours area because I don't see any, like, mostly it's Americans that talk about chemtrails. I don't hear anybody else. Maybe they are. I don't know. But
The
I
real
don't see
difference
them.
is just the number of aircraft in the area.
So
you get the crisscross trails if you live near a major airport.
And as someone who's uninitiated, there's a science behind it. It's the fact of how high they up. It's the temperature. It's how fast they're going. It depends on where I live. I live on where the flight plan for Burbank, Bob Hope International Airport, and Los Angeles International Airport, and they build like Chinook helicopters in the industrial center by my house. There is always something flying over my house. Always.
I live near an airport base. No, not airport, military base. I live near a military base. And they've got their choppers and things. So every now and again, they do flybys. But that chopper, you can hear it coming from far.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, at least 2 minutes before you see it, you're already hearing it. So I'm outside with my camera waiting for it. And then I say, sometimes I can hear it and I don't see it. Like, where the fuck is it?
It's always eerie for me because I'm like, are we going to war? Are we at war? Have we ever stopped being at war? Like, I have so many questions.
Well, the stupid thing about the chemtrail conspiracy is, how do people think that the elites who would be promoting this are going to be somehow immune to the chemicals they're spraying in the atmosphere that's going to cover everyone?
Exactly. Do they want to poison themselves also? Because we all have to breathe the same air. It's not like they're walking around in gas masks and oxygen tanks.
If they were, be scared. Be very scared if they were.
No, maybe they've developed antibodies for themselves already.
See, I don't like conspiracy theories because then you start down that rabbit hole and you start spiraling.
Well,
not real.
You're making fun of it. But who was the Republican senator that was at the Trump rally on January 6th wearing a bulletproof vest?
I don't know.
You know, so it's like, yeah, he knew shit was going to get violent.
Oh, damn right. Oh, damn right.
Yeah, but I mean, when does, maybe senators aren't civilians, you know? Because I was going to say, okay, how does a civilian get themselves a bulletproof vest? But I think that would be a stupid question because criminals are getting their hands on like AK-47s and stuff. So,
so
you want something if you have
unfortunately in the US
enough money.
It's not that hard to get.
So
what is not hard to get, Purple?
In the US, getting bulletproof vests and AK-47s is not that difficult in some states. It's scary.
Hey, I was just about to say, like, recently I got into an argument with my son, who's very pedantic. We got in an argument about if it's legal to have a bulletproof vest in California, where I live, or not. And apparently there's a weird legality where you can own a bulletproof vest now. It used to be illegal here, but apparently now you can own one. So
which is not the worst idea in the world if you are living in a place where there's like random gunshots and things.
Oh, that fuzz on my chin, Ox. I'm getting old.
Yeah.
I'm just getting old.
But
you
what
know,
gets me is that, now people are more willing to advocate for kids wearing bulletproof backpacks to school rather than allow for any reasonable gun control.
don't even get me started. That pisses me off so much. Do you know this year, every school year, they try to sell me stuff. In the school catalog, they literally had bulletproof vests.
What?
And
No,
I'm
guys,
sorry.
come on.
I'm sorry. Bulletproof backpacks. JanSport, look it up. All those companies, like all it is, it's just a backpack that comes with plates.
And it's a marketing ploy because, I mean, how do you expect a kid to lug that thing around all day?
Yeah.
Man, anyone
Stop
who's
the
wearing a
guns
jacket.
from, I mean,
Yeah.
schools are supposed to be like the most safest areas, hey. I feel like that should be like sacrilege, Do
Yeah.
not touch that thing. That type of thing. Like
I
here,
agree.
we've got criminals robbing little colleges of their fucking only 10 computers or something.
Okay. So, Mark Caesar, first off, you're making me laugh with your shouldn't Bibles stop the bullets. That makes me laugh. No. And I agree with what you're saying, Sal. Like, it's really sad that we even have to put up with this BS in any way, shape, or form. I took my son out of the loop. He's in homeschooling, and it's more because of COVID, and it's not. We've done everything that we're supposed to do on our side. Where I live, it's more of the suburbs. It's the Trumpy, more in the Trump area. A lot of people are lying. People are sending their kids to school with fake vax cards. They had an outbreak at a local high school, lied. Those kids went out and infected more kids at a football game and got half of our town infected in one night. Literally in one
I
night.
know.
Our
We
numbers
heard about,
shot.
we saw the news report, 1 million new cases in a 24-hour period.
Idiot.
My heart just broke. Like, are you people serious? And we've got anti-COVID people out there. Like, we've got people who don't mind vaccinating their kids against, the other things that have been established, like measles, polio, things like that. But they say that this vaccine for this thing it's been too quickly. But people forget that, there was a SARS breakout in 2009 or 2010 or something. So it's not like the scientists have not been working on this for quite some time.
Well, and they're saying it hasn't been adequately tested. And it's like, okay, literally something like 4 billion people have been vaccinated at this point. How much more testing do you want?
And from what I understand, and I think it's in my country, I don't know about other countries, but no one has died from the vaccine. There are people who die from the COVID, like fucking almost how many? I don't know what's the number now. The last time I checked, it was like 4 million people.
Well,
who lost their lives to this thing. How can you say that it doesn't exist? And it's evolving, Purple.
Yeah, 6 people who had the Johnson & Johnson vaccine died of blood clots, which is not necessarily to say the vaccine caused them, because these were people who were in an elevated risk category to begin with.
Yes.
But even that was after 6
also.
million people had received the shot. So it was literally a 1 in a million event.
And not to be rude or nasty or anything, but the people crying, oh, there's not enough testing, why don't you go volunteer? Who must do it?
Oh, I say that all the time. Get off your ass and go help.
Yes, go help. My hubby's auntie, she lives in Dubai. She is she's like the head of that hospital that she's at. And she took part in the trials. When they started, she's exhausted. Hey, she gets like 2 hours sleep a night because she's on this thing. And she was part of the trials and she's still alive. Oh, I took the Johnson & Johnson also. We were very afraid because I have a little bit of a heart problem, but it didn't affect me at all. I just went through, those few days of that thing working through my system. And yeah,
I heard
all
about
good.
that new vaccine. But isn't that supposed to only target the Omicron?
Yeah, I haven't heard about this one yet. That's what I was going to ask you guys.
There is a little problem we are experiencing with the virus itself, because it is evolving. Anybody who had doubted evolution in the past, there's a new variant. They've named it Deltacron, because it's got bits of the Delta and it's got bits of the Omicron, and they are now combined their resources, I would say. So evolution is a thing, people. Whether we like it or not, creatures evolve.
Well, we're just dragging the people who don't believe that along with us. That's the problem. And that's the problem with society in general, is that there's the people who accept that everything evolves. I'm saying this from a comedian, but I'm not going to feel the same way. I don't feel the same way I did 10 years ago I do today. I'm still wearing the same clothes, but I don't feel the same way,
Hopefully you've matured, but I wouldn't say that for myself. No, not evolve like that. No. In science, evolution is actually the change in allele frequencies in a population over successive generations.
Yes.
You're talking geological time.
Yeah.
One individual does not evolve. A species
it
evolves.
affects populations. Yes. So, like usually creationists will say, oh, there's no crocodile. So, according to evolution, there won't be a crocodile.
See, again, that's another argument that starts a fight with me. That's so debunked, I can debunk that. If you got me in a room with one of those guys, it's sad. It's just, it really makes me sad how many people believe propaganda. And I didn't realize it until I got online and saw all these different sects of people who are so myopic about one topic,
Yeah.
We're the sum total of all of them.
I was told point blank that, we got to have a spectrum of people. There's a scale. And basically the person was trying to tell me that, you got to have the stupid ones, to offset the intelligent ones, which, okay, there's a scale, there's a spectrum. But there are certain things that we should just fall in line when we see the evidence.
Mm-hmm.
We know what the speed of light is. That's why we have computers, right?
Yeah.
So you use the computer to, spout your theories, your conspiracy theories, and then, but you don't believe the speed of light. You don't believe that the speed of light is a thing. You don't believe space is a thing. You don't know how radio waves work.
I hate to say it's science against religion, but it usually does come down to people will believe what the priest said before they'll believe the scientist.
Or the new argument. Well, it's not a new argument, but I've been told recently that I pray to science and that my religion is science. And then I have to get in this whole argument of why my religion is not science and I don't have a religion. It's exhausting. Especially when I speak to young earth creationists, Christians. I live around a lot of Mormons who have this really skewed view.
Look, I'm not knocking somebody's skewed view, in inverted commas. But there are certain things that we should just, like, your car goes, right?
Yeah.
You go, you put your key in, it starts. That means the calculations that the people did to make this car go was correct. That, like you have a business, right?
Yeah.
You have a business.
Yeah.
You have to do bookkeeping.
Oh, yeah.
When you fuck up, the calculations are, bunk. They don't work. So you got to go looking for where the hell you put the money.
Yeah.
Oh, absolutely. Or
The
like
difference is if you write a 10-page essay that shows that the Pope is wrong, you get excommunicated. If you write a 10-page essay that shows Einstein is wrong, you get a Nobel Prize.
That's true. There's a big difference. And you get a ride on a starship.
And okay, you guys know that the Voyagers are out there, right? They've like technically left our solar system.
Yes.
They've gone past that certain point. So how do we know that we can still communicate with that craft? So apparently we have, sorry?
Oh, it sent back garbled signals, and Scientific America, I want to say 5 or 6 years ago, kind of added to the mystery because they were like totally playing off of the first Star Trek movie. And they were saying that Voyagers changed its directory and something had to have tampered with it. And there's nothing they can do about it, but they're still receiving garbled signals every once in a while. It's in, one of the billion articles that Scientific America has had.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I was going to say how I knew how we get the signal. So they've got 2 satellites, one pointed directly at the Voyager and one pointed like just next to it. So, they are able to know what the actual noise of space is and what the Voyager is sending back. So they can, clean up the data that they get from the actual noise of space.
From the background noise.
Yes. And I think that is amazing. That is a good idea to, what is actually background noise and what is from the craft itself. Very interesting. Guys, space is real.
Cosmic background radiation is awesome. And I know that because of Scientific America.
Yeah, no, I didn't even know about these things until I came to YouTube and realized that, wow, these people are arguing about things that, the information that they are arguing about, we are already using in practical applications.
I was always encouraged. My mother was a devout Catholic, but my father, because he worked at NASA, I still to this day, he passed away, but I think he was an atheist. He just went to church because my mom took him every Sunday for 40 something years.
Shame.
I maintain my mother's father was a pagan. He just didn't know the word for it. Because he went to church because it was, what everybody did.
Exactly.
But when something really bothered him, he hiked out in the woods and sat on a hollow log and communed with nature. If he really needed to pray, he just went and talked to the trees.
My dad would always tell me, figure it out for yourself and you won't need God. That's an atheist. It wasn't until I got in the atheist community that I was like, wait a minute, my pops told me that my whole life, It's one of those funny things. You keep going and then the goalposts get shift. Okay.
I always I've developed this little thought now that I can't seem to shake. It's God is like an excuse for people to do what they want, but then say it's like, God spoke to me or it came to me in a dream from God or something like that. It's them themselves who want to do this thing.
I agree with you, and I have not changed my position since I was when I believe in woo-woo or anything. Modern religion is based on control. It's based on how much you can mentally beat someone down, because once they figured out that you have the flaming sky daddy in the sky that's gonna beat you up if you do something wrong, you don't need a guard, you don't need you don't need an army, you don't need anything. You just need a church where everyone goes once a week to feel like shit about themselves. I always say it's
opinions.
It's a prison without.
Yeah, but is God really watching them? If they really thought,
but that's my point.
The true Scotsman. If they really thought God was watching them, would they even do half the shit that they do.
That's my whole point. It's not real. So I'm like, y'all, like, that's nuts. I agree with you. It's nuts.
You're lying to
Like,
yourselves, man.
exactly. Like that's so I believe in no self-indictments, and for that means don't tell on yourself and don't lie to yourself. Those are things I say all the time. Like, don't tell on yourself and don't lie to yourself, you know.
Yeah, and I got myself
Absolutely,
into
Marcy.
Facebook now, and into a couple of groups like religion versus atheist, Christian versus, and so I said, okay, God is an imaginary friend for adults.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's adults like using, the God idea to give themselves permission to be, nasty, bigoted, hypocritical
absolutely.
people, while they are accusing the other person of doing that.
Somebody that I consider like a parent, someone who helped raise me, recently has shunned me because she found out that I'm an atheist, and it really pissed me. She's an older woman. She's in her she's got to be like 75 by now.
Is
But
she Jehovah's Witness?
no, she's I don't even know what denomination of Christianity, but they do the Awanas. If anyone out in the crowd knows what the Awanas is, I grew up with her daughters. Like, I've known them my whole life, but it hurt my feelings. Christianity, it's just a giant blind religion in general. It's a giant wall, and if people don't reach that standard, you go and hide behind your wall and say, "Oh no, I can't deal with you." It's just fear. It's just fear,
Yeah.
Religion
And
in general.
also, I've actually heard that some Christians, some very prominent Christians, I don't know if I can name and shame them, but they said that even if the evidence, like conclusive evidence comes out that there is no God, they will still believe the Bible.
Yep.
They got to go to. They need something to make money off of. Like Mark Caesar was saying.
Yes.
How much money does the Catholic Church have right now?
Yeah. Apparently, the Catholic Church is the richest organization on earth. Organization.
Yeah, because they got real
organization.
Gold. They've got real gold from the Mayas, from the Nazis, from everything.
Yep.
they've. Oh.
Well, and Mark Caesar's asking, how can anyone call God a friend when all he does is threaten you?
Absolutely.
And yeah, that's
he's got to hold you feet to the fire in order to, keep your.
Well, and Christians talk about having a personal relationship with God, and it's like, no, that's a really abusive relationship.
Okay, so I watch a lot of Black atheists, and in the Black atheist world, I'm gonna clap my hands. It's literally called talking to yourself. Oh, it bothers me because people be like, "Oh, I was praying and blah blah blah." No, you were talking to yourself and you told yourself what you wanted to hear.
Yes,
you convinced yourself. I can whip myself. Oh, go ahead.
The biggest cop out is, oh, God didn't answer your prayer. Well, it wasn't your time. God knows everything. He knows what's good for you. And if your prayer wasn't answered, that means it wasn't good for you.
Oh, yeah.
Well, they say things are all according to God's plan. So then what's the point of praying? Because aren't you asking God to change his plan?
Stop it.
Absolutely.
Exactly. And coming back to the shunning, that is the Jehovah's Witness way. That's why I asked you if she a Jehovah's Witness, because they would shun you for stupid things. Yet they will do everything in their power to protect a child abuser.
Oh, absolutely. You know what, though? Catholics do the exact same thing. I was shunned for what they perceived as being gay, and people still hate me for it. People still will not talk to me for it. But that same group of people will still hang out and protect somebody who who, is an abuser, is an
Yes.
absolute serial abuser.
Yes, and they will even move that person to a different congregation.
Oh, you know what's really funny? When I was younger, we had this father that was this amazing guy. He would do magic. He was an awesome dude. And one day he disappeared and we never saw him again. And years later, he's on the list. There's a list of
Mhm.
priests that got shifted around over the years. And it's strange. There's actually 2 priests that from the church I grew up in that were on that list.
Wow.
Yeah, and another one who actually came to my house, and my dad told me years later he was probably predators check out situations. So he was going from house to house to see, like, he went to all the houses that had a lot of kids, and I was the youngest of 9.
Wow. You see, yeah, I won't send my kids to church either. um, they when they were younger, they loved going to church, but they were so young that they went to the kids side of it. They went to like Sunday school, so like to draw pictures and things like that. But now none of them go to church.
I'm not dogging every church,
Sure.
but I
Look,
try
we
not to
have to
dog all
talk about
religion.
Christians as a monolith.
Yes.
Because they are Christians. And if one jumps up and says, "Oh, I don't believe like that," you got the wrong information. Well, dude, there are 40,000 denominations.
Yeah.
So
Exactly.
tell me which one is correct. It's either only one is correct or none of them are correct.
And that's another
get to
argument.
it.
Because I was recently watching Randolph's debate with the father and son Christian guy. That got my blood pressure going, because the one question, they're so sure in their ways that their God is the only way. My question would be like, do you know how many people disagree with you that agree with you to a certain extent? Do you know how many different denominations would say that you're going to hell because of this one little
2.1 billion at least.
Oh,
And that's only in Christianity. Let's not even mention the Muslims, the Hindus, because even in the Hindus there are different things broken up there. And then you've got religions without gods. Come on,
when
guys.
I was a kid, with my church, we went on the Israel tour, and the one thing that shocked me the most was to find out how many denominations of Catholics there were. They were like
denominations of what?
They were like,
no.
The Orthodox Armenians have their own church. The Greek Orthodox have their own church. Israel is just they all have stake there.
Yeah.
So they all.
So which one are we supposed to take? Correctly, like each one is trying to scream different stuff down your throat.
Exactly.
One thing they do have in common, most Christians: oh, you think that the earth is a globe, you're going to hell because you're not believing the way God wants you to believe, as if belief is required for the shape of the earth.
Do you know, I wasn't ready for it also. I have a good friend who I'm still friends with. He was raised by a preacher, literally son of a preacher man. When we were in junior high, he told me I'm going to hell because I'm Catholic. And I was literally taught the exact opposite of what he was taught. And I was like, sorry to break it to you, buddy, but you're going to hell because you don't believe in what I believe in. But we were so indoctrinated that we still laugh at it to this very day.
Hey, at least you realize that is not, what it is. Like you accuse me, and then I say, okay, you're going to hell because you don't believe the way I do. And then you turn around and say that. And then at a point we will say, but wait a minute, what if both of us, were thinking wrong?
Exactly. One of my favorite
thoughts wrong, I should say. Thoughts wrong, because I'm of the opinion now that atheist is the default position.
That's an argument. I agree with you, but there are people that would go to the mat on that one.
Because honestly, we are taught. I mean, I was a Hindu when I was young. You guys know, and I did all the religious things, all the traditional cultural things. And if I was born in a different community, I would have been doing different things. If I was born in a Christian household, I would go to church on Sunday. I don't know if, whatever they do. And then if I was a Muslim, I'd go to mosque on Friday, and then they have Eid and all of that. I would have been doing those things. If I was born into an atheist household, I would not have been doing any religious things. So it depends where you were born, who you were born to, and what those people are teaching you about their selves, their lives, what they learn.
Talk about that. I talk about that all the time. If I grew up 30 miles from here, I would have a different accent. If I grew up in Texas, I would have a different accent. It's all about
and a different lingo
from.
and everything. Yes.
Oh yeah. And
there's
people...
and even not even a lingo. You may even use the same word in a different context. So we can't just put people in boxes, put ideas in boxes.
Absolutely.
That's what most of these people want to do.
I get that a lot though, because I don't fit the expectation of what it is to be an African American. So all the time people are like, "You're what? I thought you were something else," or they always fill in the blanks because we have these perpetuated stereotypes of what it is to be anything. Say Catholic, you think of a weirdo priest. You say Presbyterian, you think of something else.
Yeah,
we have these built-in prejudice.
Yeah, we've got the Dutch Reformed Church, and sometime last year, there's about 80 branches in South Africa, and the 80 branches decided that they're not going to dis evolution anymore. They've looked at the evidence, and the evidence is overwhelming, and they're going to stop that teaching that evolution is not true.
Well, that's progress.
I think so. Like, believe in God all you want, but don't conflate scientific discovery and advancement with your personal belief in God. That's all.
Absolutely. And I know a lot about the Catholic Church just because of I constantly watch the news and stuff like that. But even the Catholic Church put in a giant telescope at the Vatican. They're like, hey, evolution's real, blah blah blah. Like, we're here, because they had to concede, and they're gonna keep conceding every time they get proven wrong.
Yeah.
But at least they admitted, like, hey, the Earth's round.
Yes.
And I thought that was interesting that they have a giant telescope at the Vatican.
That's progress also, like, get with the program, people. Space is vast. The Earth is not really fine-tuned for anything. It just happened to have these circumstances and conditions, for life to develop. And who knows? I mean, 40 billion planets in our galaxy alone. So, to arrogantly think that this is only one bloody speck in the vastness where God, placed his ants is, a little bit arrogant, I would say.
I recently saw the Pope say that people are selfish if they don't have kids. Like, hey, how many people are on this planet? We're almost at 8 billion.
Really?
We're okay.
I heard Christians accuse atheists of being selfish because they are having children and causing them to go to hell. Because
what?
Yes.
Do you know, my mom told me that my son, because my mom knows her family history, that it goes back like almost 600 years at least, because they wrote it down. But she said that I'm the first person in like living or written history to raise my son not in the Catholic Church in my family. I'm the
called
first.
breaking the stereotype.
So in 600 years, I'm the first parent to be like, nope, we don't have to go to church every Sunday like idiot. That's another thing. My dad would wake up so angry, and I'd always think it was BS because everybody would be holding hands in church. Then you get in the parking lot, and my dad got scary because he had road rage, So he'd be like, F you, get out of my way, all that.
And you're
Catholic
thinking, but dude, you just came from church. Hello.
Exactly. It's
I
all
took one of
made.
my daughters to some pagan rituals. She didn't care about the religion. She just liked the dancing.
That's more, I went to quite a few Black Baptist churches and had the time of my life. Again, I'm not dogging the religion. I'm just like, don't oppress me.
Yeah,
don't oppress me. Have
and
fun.
the different denominations also. I mean, there are some denominations who would refuse to accept Jesus as the go-between between them and God, and they will call themselves Christian. But if you're a Christian, aren't you supposed to believe in Jesus Christ?
There are so many offshoots in sex that it's mind-boggling.
It is. And obviously the fringiest of the fringes are the young earth creationists.
Yep.
Sarah, you just killed me with Jesus doesn't have driver insurance. I'm stealing that one. Oh, next
put it
time
on a bumper sticker and put it on the back of your car.
Not around here. Someone might break my window.
Oh.
People like politics have become really charged, and like Trumpers are getting their windows smashed, but then people are smashing Biden stickers as well. So like
everything goes. Everything goes. You never know what to expect these days,
Yeah,
that's why I have, I wanted to, but I've avoided putting any stickers on my car that would make any religious or political reference.
You know what sticker you can put on your car? If you don't like the way I drive, get off the pavement.
The only one I would ever get is "Shut up and drive." The one it's literally a picture of a guy. There's a guy with a cell phone, because here in California, being on your cell phone and driving is illegal because where I live are mass amounts of people in cars. We're always in car. You have to own a car to live in LA. I'm sorry. And so you're always in your car. Cell phones are distracting. I'm sorry. I'm old. I can barely switch a CD. I'm sorry to be
crude, but there was an accident here in South Africa where the girl was on, I'm saying girl, it was a lady, on her cell phone while she was on the highway. And the accident was so hard that the phone was plastered to her face.
Oof.
It was literally stuck to her face.
Oh, wow.
Oh.
So, don't talk. I mean, there's Bluetooth and earphones and, all sorts of things. Waiting, pulling over on the side of the road, or waiting till you can, or say, hey, I'm driving, can't talk, bye. Not like I literally have a 1-hour conversation while you're driving.
Well, also, like, I've never owned a modern car, and I inherited a modern car, and I can talk. My phone syncs in with my car. And so that's convenient. Like, I could drive all day and yak, but usually the people I talk to, we have like 30-second conversations. Like, did you do this and this? Yeah. And someone hangs up, Like, they put hands-free devices in cars for that very reason, because here, man, driving there, I saw a study, and I saw it on Mythbusters too, but driving while talking on your cell phone is just like being drunk.
And hey, Jenny.
Hi.
Sorry, I'm late.
Yes, I know that pavement equals sidewalk. Language, hey? As we were saying, language evolves.
Yep. Yeah, it's kind of interesting when I'm, dealing with the Brits of how often we have to clarify because the same word means different things.
Yep. So, guys, I'm so sorry. I'm going to have to go. It was lovely talking to you. I'm going to the hospital to fetch my kids' medication.
Okay.
So,
Well,
yeah. Have a good one.
I hope that they're all feeling better soon.
No, my kid takes epilepsy medication. We got to go fetch it every 30 days.
Oh, okay. Yeah, so it's
Yes,
just an ongoing.
Yeah, I tried to get it from the bloody clinic here. We have like a mini hospital clinic down the road, but it is such, the medication is such that it needs a doctor's referral and the medical report and the bloody prescription until they can help him. So I got to do this trick, whether I like it or not. Damn.
Okay. Well, you take care. We'll see you later.
Bye-bye.
Enjoy.
So, what's going on tonight here?
Not much. Mostly we've been babbling about religion.
Religion? What the
Well, we started talking about conspiracies, and that got into religion, and we kind of got stuck there. So if you've got a new topic, go right ahead.
I got nothing. I'm just waiting for the weather that's supposed to hit. Maybe
the snowstorm that's supposed to be coming in now.
Yeah.
I'm not sure when it's supposed to start here.
I'm not sure here either. Or how much or nothing. Apparently there's going to be some dry wedge, and right now they think we're going to be on the edge of the dry wedge, and so we should only maybe get some traces to an inch. But if it moves, it could be 10 inches. Okay, whatever you say.
Yikes.
Yeah, I see they just reduced ours here too. That it had been saying like 3.5 inches, and now it's down to chance of 1 to 3 inches.
Sal dropped out.
Yep.
How are you doing, Jenny?
Oh, mostly okay. I honestly, I had fallen asleep, and I wish I would still be sleeping. But other than that, I'm okay.
Okay, according to Weather Underground, it's supposed to start snowing here around 3 or 4 a.m.
That's so weird. It was 71 degrees today.
But I mean, if we're getting, 3 inches, they don't even send the plows out until it's more than 3 inches. So 1 to 3 inches is nothing. That's not going to affect anything here.
Where's my other phone? I have a friend who lives in Bend, Oregon, and they were getting hammered for a while.
The snow?
Yeah.
Okay, well, I don't know where Bend is, honestly.
It's eastern Oregon, I guess. You guys can completely trash me in the comments if I'm off.
Yeah.
I lived in Portland, which is northern Oregon. So standing in a map, it's like east,
Yeah,
well,
climatologically, they're totally different, east and west, because of the mountain.
I do understand that driving in snow is scary for people who aren't used to it, but I've lived it in all my life. I've always lived on the Great Lakes.
After living in the Pacific Northwest, I learned how to drive in the rain. And I don't get arrogant when I'm driving in the rain, but it makes me laugh how much people forget their training out here when it rains.
Yeah. I get like that about the snow too. Yeah, but the furthest south I've ever lived was Chicago.
Oh wow.
I've slowed down a lot in how I drive. I guess I'm old and I'm afraid.
I got $1,400 in tickets.
Well, I'm afraid of that
too.
I've gotten some tickets when it was on dry roads and I wasn't paying attention on long interstate drives, but Yeah, when it's snowing, you're careful with that stuff, and
Yeah.
and that's it. It's just that you drive a little slower, you leave a little more distance between the vehicles, and you should be fine. You can handle it.
I
Well, you know
think
what
that's
taught me to drive very reasonably was having a dog with me 24/7. A dog in a car. It's not necessarily a good thing, and you got to drive careful and not be radical or do things fast or intensely because the dog's gonna end up bouncing all over the place.
Yep.
having Isaiah when he was a little guy in the car. It killed all my road rage, like all the
Well, and
all
that's the
the
biggest thing about driving in bad weather is, being aware of everything around you and don't make any sudden moves. Because hitting the brakes suddenly is what spins you out of control. If you leave enough distance that you can put the pressure down gradually and pump it, then you're not going to have a problem.
Oh, that's like recently when it was raining and I saw some guy go past me on the freeway at 90 and I'm like, "Well, I'll dial 91 and then I'll hit 1 again when I pass you and you're into a brick wall somewhere." Fucking idiots. Absolute idiot. And I have brand new rain tires and I was going super slow.
Well, and that's what always gets me, that the people in the pickup trucks and the SUVs go speeding past me in the snow, and it's like, yeah, you know who you're going to see flipped over in the ditch 3 miles down the road.
Exactly. Or we have
Because
a
one thing that these people don't get is that four-wheel drive doesn't mean shit when you're braking.
absolutely. I'm laughing because I own a giant truck, and it's so true. So true. Oh, so
And
what?
it's another thing that, it's one of the things I like about having a small car. You got a car that doesn't weigh as much, it stops in a shorter distance.
Well, that is true.
Recently, I've been going to Ventura. That's my new sewing machine honey hole. A good old sunny Ventura, California. And there's a stretch between where I live that goes straight to the beach. And it's a 4-lane, well, it's 2 lanes going in, east and west. And it is known that if you go over the speed limit, there is a California Highway Patrol waiting for you. So my new thing is just to sit there and, I'm going the speed limit because I'm over 40. So I finally drive responsible. It makes me laugh when I see someone fly by because I know they're going to get pulled over. I know I'm going to see them about 3 miles down pulled over. And it happened last weekend.
Yeah, there is the ramp going from Interstate 94 onto Minnesota 52. That the concrete barrier on that ramp has a whole rainbow full of paint scrapes there of people just taking that turn a little too fast.
Those are called Darlington stripes in NASCAR because of all the crashes into the upper wall and the
Yep.
tire marks that it leaves. Darlington stripes.
And we have a blank box labeled Dick Dawson.
Hey, Dick.
It always makes me laugh. Like some kid will go flying past me and I'm like, "Oh, you're going to lose your license today, kid."
There we go. Dick's getting his living room loaded up. Actually, it looks like a hunting lodge.
Why would you go hunting a lodge?
Jenny, I told you
Well, it's
about.
pretty easy. They don't run away even when you startle them.
I actually love it when we get snowing in California because the lodges are great places to go hang out because I suck at snowboarding and skiing. So I'll go hang out at the lodge.
I never learned how to ski. That was always something I'd wanted to try, but just never got to it.
I thought I'd be a pro because I surf. So I thought like, oh, I could snowboard. Nope. When you surf, you're not strapped in and you can jump off your board.
Interesting.
Well, you got that ankle rope, don't you?
Yeah, but you know, being tethered to your board is way different than being locked in. I you know what? I suck at snowboarding. I guess because I grew up surfing, I'm a ripper, but like I thought I'd be an instant ripper at snowboarding, and I wasn't.
It is kind of
I-
weird considering where I've always lived that I never got into any winter sports. I never learned how to ice skate or ski. I did snowshoe a few times.
I did. I was into skiing when I was younger, but I mean, like, up until the age of like 12 or 13. And as life progressed, the whole rock and roll guitar player thing and whatnot took over to the point where I look back on it, and if I was to fall doing like mogul runs the way I used to as a kid, I would be broken and no longer able to parent, and as such, I don't do it. I mean, it's crazy.
Yeah.
No,
That's same here. I lost my interest in skiing when I lost my insurance.
Good one.
that's me and motorcycles. I'd have a serious talk with myself. Do you want to be a parent or do you want to be a biker? I had to hang it up.
I owned a small motorcycle for a while, but the damn thing never ran right, so I never got to ride it very much.
Man, with gas prices, I might be taking parole and probation out of the shelf because gas is so high. I have two
Yeah.
bikes. I call them parole. And
Well,
probation.
you're a parent now. I think you got to play it safe and stay slow, and so you should go get yourself a 100cc Honda something or other.
Yeah.
You know, a little scooter.
I was
Well,
thinking about
Danny, I started when I was 5 years old on a Honda 50 back in 75,
Heck yeah.
and I've been riding all my life. So, I mean, to me, it's we had the 3-wheelers that, you know, everybody oohed and awed about. But if you know how to ride them, they're badass rigs, man.
I
My
did have a
mechanic-
couple little mopeds, and those were good for getting around the city. I'd have one
mechanic
again if
knows
I had a
this.
place to keep it.
You know what's really funny? Because I grew up around Harley enthusiasts, there was always that joke about how mopeds and scooters are awesome until your friends come around because they're not tough looking. You know?
Well, see, that
Yeah,
was the thing. I
Harley,
never gave
man.
a shit what anybody thought of me, so
I would rock a scooter, but but scooters are awesome. I always thought that, but I never got one because I grew up around, you know, a bunch of meatheads.
Yeah.
so I got a bike.
You know, Godless, in North America, that holds so true. But the other side of the coin is, if you were to ask Mr. Honda if that holds true and the sales of the Honda
true.
Super Cub, I think he would be the one laughing in the background.
No,
Yeah.
true. No, it's so true. I
Hey.
agree. I said in my last video, like I'm a real life Westerner. I try not to overstate that too much, but I'm a real life Westerner, so I know that other countries exist.
when I was incredibly broke, the moped was the cheapest transportation you could get. The one I had literally got 100 miles to the gallon, and it only cost me like $40 for 6 months for insurance.
Cool.
Oh, good grief. Gas is contentious with me right now, but it's just because like I have to, because of my job, we have to fill up 22 vehicles. So if you add that up, that's a lot of money.
Yeah.
That's a lot of money.
Yeah, again, you know, it's why I like having a small car that gets decent mileage. And again, around here, it's like I'm not driving very much. Everything's within 5 miles. I really don't put any mileage on it. You know,
Purple.
the only time I put any mileage on is about twice a month to go and get Sloth Girl's son.
The drummer in my band in 1989 had the anniversary turbo Trans Am as his summer car, but he had, you remember the Renault car?
Leaker.
Yeah. He had one of those as a winter car. And I remember in winter for like 3 years in a row, he'd be like, I hate this piece of crap, but oh my God, it gets great gas mileage. It was
never get caught in a car with less than 3 lug nuts.
Yeah, right. You know, wow.
Yeah,
I had a buddy
Actually,
who had a
when-
Grand National, and I'm still looking for one. If I ever find, and he had a burgundy Grand National, we thought we were so tough. We were a bunch of skinny kids. We thought we were so tough, but it was a great car.
Sewing. There's a guy, a dealership owner in the States. There's an episode on Jay Leno's Garage, and he has not just a Grand National, but the last edition, the GNX.
Oh.
He has one in the dealership, brand new still, never been sold.
Okay, Mark Short, what's a ute?
Okay.
A ute is greatest vehicle that North America abandoned, and I hate. Oh my! A proper Australian ute, you can get yourself. It's like an El Camino, except you can get one with the Corvette engine, brand new style, like a proper new vehicle. And oh yeah, it's all that and everything. We are so deprived.
Called a Jenny.
Or like it's a giant, or you can get a ute that just has a giant flatbed on it. Like I honestly, I used to own a flatbed. I miss my flatbed truck.
Oh, we're so deprived up here that we don't get the modern ute. There's actually a guy in Southern California. He might be in San Diego. I can't remember. If you go back a couple of years on Doug DeMuro's channel, you can find him. But he imports the Australian ute, which is actually a Pontiac G8 chassis that's been modified by Holden, right? But anyway, he imports them and then switches them to left-hand drive using G8 parts, and they are federalized and you can buy them. They're not cheap, but you still get a ute in North America, man.
I'm trying to buy there's a lot of movie houses around, and up the canyon they store a lot of movie props, and every once in a while you'll see a tank being towed or something. I'm trying to buy a UN assault vehicle. One of those. It's huge. You'll know because I want to make a video about it. It's huge. And Jenny, you're laughing now. You'll laugh even more when you see me walking out the tailgate of it. At my height, I can like walk in and out of it. It's so huge. And the tires are almost my height.
Awesome.
Those kind of tires will cost like $2,000 a piece or so.
That's the kicker of why I haven't bought, because when you get a good deal or a good price on something like that, it's because the upkeep is unreal. So I don't know if I had the patience for it.
Modifications and happiness incur cost, but with due diligence, maintenance, and respect of the hardware, it's still not unaffordable. You just have to, play within the rules, right?
True.
You don't put on a whole bunch of badass off-road hardware and then start fucking jumping around like you're in the Dakar, because those guys got to rebuild those things all the time. Let's keep it within reason, and you're going to enjoy that stuff, right?
I'll tell you,
that's how it is.
I try to be practical. Like I have someone that's been a rival in my hometown. I've known him off and on. He drove his Lamborghini past my house. I'm like, all right. I couldn't, but I could drive my tractor past his house, and my tractor makes money. And I know his Lambo doesn't make money, So
Lamborghinis came from tractors, right?
Yeah.
Ferruccio Lamborghini was a tractor manufacturer when he got into his fight with Enzo Ferrari and said, "Screw you, I'll show you." Right?
True.
So, that's a great analogy.
I just try to be practical, because I could buy a Lambo, but I'd rather buy a tractor and make Lambo money,
Yeah.
It's funny
agreed.
that way.
When I lived in Michigan, I knew a guy named Farmall, His father had named him after his favorite tractor.
Oh, you know what? I can't believe I'm going to say this, but I have a good friend whose name was Jarrell. And we always thought it was for some deeper meaning or something like that. And one day he confessed his mom was really, really into Superman.
Okay.
And because we always thought, oh, it's Arabic, it has this meaning. He's like, nah, my mom's shallow as hell. Oh, if he ever heard me tell that story, he would punch me in my face, but he's gone Hollywood, so he won't hear this one.
Well, these days it's not that uncommon. And even before, it wasn't that uncommon for people to name children after literary characters.
Yeah, look at Moby.
I named my son after a Confederate soldier that's in my bloodline. Full name. And my brother named his son after a Union soldier, full name, that had our same last name. The Great White North. Do you know, I recently saw a map where they were basically trying to annex, like Canada was trying to annex everything but Texas, basically.
Yeah. My mom actually has never told me why I have the name I was given, but based also partially on the middle name that went with it, I'm going to go with Sloth Girl's theory that I was named after a popular TV actor of the time. So I think it's just an actor my mom had a crush on when she was pregnant.
I had that thought as well as soon as I got to know you, Purple. Totally. I totally agree.
Oh, that happens all the time. I had a friend
sorry, didn't see you come in.
I had a friend who named his daughter Emily, and he was just a total major fan of the Bob Newhart show.
Yikes.
Hi, everybody.
How's it going?
How are you doing?
How is everybody?
Oh, pretty good.
Oh,
Beautiful.
Awesome. I like it. Everybody should be beautiful and awesome every day.
Now I have that. I have the song "International Harvester" stuck in my head because Doorknob had to say,
Dude,
I'm
I'll sing it with you, bro. I know that song.
I love that song.
Sing it for us.
International Harvester.
I'll get down. Like so fun fact, my ex-wife, we used to live with her stepdad and her mom way back in the day. And her stepdad was this like scary giant biker dude who actually was a really cool guy. But if you saw him, you'd be like, wow, he obsessively would smoke weed and watch. I don't know what it's called now, but it was called CMT back then. Country Music Channel.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I know every country song from like, I don't know, 09 on or something like that. Like I watched hours upon hours of music videos with that guy. It's, it's a little commercial. I like old school gutty, like Conway Twitty, the dog died, the Ford died, I'm crying kind of music.
So you like the Ford died, the bank repossessed the house, the wife left him for his best friend.
Desperados on a train, dude.
The dog ran away, and he's out of bullets.
No, dog's been running away for 3 days, but with my binoculars, I can still see that son of a bitch.
The old school guys told stories, like Johnny Horton. Johnny Horton told a story. Like he'd have you crying for someone who got hung.
Yeah, see, that's the kind of music I like, because I'm kind of tone deaf. I've got a real tin can ear. So, yeah, I'm more about songs that really tell a story. Those are the things I like to listen to.
Yeah, but country music keeps telling the same story. My girl left, my dog died.
Well, yeah.
Oh.
Well, I'm just waiting with self-driving vehicles before we have a song about how my truck left me.
Yes, Doorknob Head, I am the lab helper of Mr. Wizard. You figured me out. I am truly, truly amazed. You are, man. decisiveness and deduction that you have going on there.
I love that damn
Great,
show.
man.
I love that damn show. When I was a kid, I loved Mr. Wizard. That was my shit when I was a kid.
Mr. Wizard was pretty cool. Yeah. Good.
I just like that, like, you know.
Somehow I entirely missed it. It's like it wasn't on channels that I ever saw.
It was a great show. I was addicted to it as a kid too.
I grew up in that weird era where they would show that. Like, I grew up watching also Captain Kangaroo, Lamb
Yeah.
Chop. I don't know. I grew up in that weird gray area.
Well, I remember the classic Captain Kangaroo, you know, back from the late 60s, early 70s when I was a kid.
Dick, are you still here? I even watched a lot
I
of.
am.
Did they show Danger Mouse? Where you're from?
Danger Mouse. Yeah.
I love the old school Danger Mouse because
Yep.
it's all 60s out and they're dancing. You know, they're doing the Watusi. I love those old cartoons.
Well, I remember when Nickelodeon first came on the air before it got turned into what it is today. That you know, to fill airtime, Danger Mouse was one of the ones they were running. I used to watch that a lot.
Did you guys ever watch Ren and Stimpy?
No, I hated that one.
Do you know that would not be on television by today's standards?
You
I
think?
agree there. Yeah.
We've become
I
way
agree
more
there.
Puritan. Like, even, do you think Beavis and Butthead would be on TV?
Well, it's an adult cartoon.
Yeah.
I could see how.
Well, yeah, Beavis would make it because South Park is on. So, you know, there is a scale we can use right now. And South Park, although it's not the, you know, primitive raunch it was in the early days, they do still push the limits with their social commentary, more modern style.
So,
But I do think there's a bar there that we can use as a judge.
there's a new South Park. I have Paramount Plus because I pay for Star Trek because I'm a sap. And on Paramount Plus, I just completely had a brain fart. Don't smoke weed, kids. What were we
Yeah.
just talking about?
Well, they did rehash Danger Mouse. They did a reboot of it, and I saw some episodes of it on Netflix. Not nearly as good as the original.
I never saw Danger Mouse.
I love Danger Mouse. They have it all over YouTube too, the old stuff, and I indoctrinated my kid and made him watch all the new stuff and the old stuff back when he didn't know any better.
I remember the old Jay Ward cartoons. You know, that's the old Bullwinkle and Rocky, and
Oh yeah.
you know, Speed Racer and Super Chicken.
Yeah, never saw Speed Racer, Rocky and Bullwinkle. I really like that. Still do.
Sorry.
I didn't think
was-
Natasha was very sexy though.
I was screwing around in the background with that image I got for my camera thing. That's the Bob and Doug McKenzie Great White North set. I've been doing my own version up of it to get ready to do a little thing on the channel, just to have a little fun, right? You know?
Yeah, I saw that you had that set up there.
Yeah. I'm just having a little experimental time as we're hanging out here. You know?
Cool.
Exactly, Jenny, right? And what I want to do is I want to have a revolving set of guests and, you know, do a similar thing, like a 2-minute just blurb and just have some funny BS about something. But I don't want it to be, you know, a set partner. And instead of it always being me, I just want it to be one of the shills all the time. And then it could just be like a funny little, you know, YouTube wants to play its shorts. Well, we'll do it our own way. Fuck you, because shorts are lame. That's TikTok. You know?
I just came back in. I feel too old for TikTok.
Same. I don't get it. I can't
disagree.
do it.
TikTok is YouTube for people who don't have an attention span of 2 minutes.
Okay,
Well,
Jenny,
that I'll agree with.
Jenny, I'll tell you a really quick story. I'm obsessed with beautiful butts, okay?
Yeah.
So I had
And I cannot lie.
I had Twitter. I had TikTok. And I finally broke down and put it on my phone. I go on it and, I type in beautiful butts. 15 minutes in, I was like, oh, I'm too old. Chris Hansen or whatever his name's going to be at my house for watching this. It made me feel old. I don't know. Maybe it's because I am, but like, I don't know.
Dude, you ain't old, man. Come
I'm
on.
okay with, but like, if you're 35 and under, you're too young to date me.
Word. Yep. Yeah, I feel that.
So when I see 35 and under, I'm like, oof.
Yeah, it's gonna be like, for me, it's that there's no way I could have gave birth to you. You are way too old to be like my child, and then I will date you. Because that shit's just, I don't know, man. That shit's
my
just
cutoff
nasty.
line is I can't date anyone younger than my daughter.
Right.
Yeah.
See, I have a 5-year span there, perps. The person has to be at least 5 years older than my child, so there's no way I could not have been old enough to give birth to them in any way, shape, or form.
Yeah.
I couldn't have. Like,
Well,
nah, man.
My oldest will be turning 40 this year.
See, they're too young to me. I look at them and I see my fucking kid, and I just can't.
Yeah, but you know what?
My rule is that they have to be 18, at least 18, physically and mentally.
Yeah, but hold on. Jenny, sorry, but what they were saying, you can't use a year. It has to be a percentage because I can tell you from personal experience from this year, I'm 50 and I recently tried a little thing that seemed like, it didn't, but, and it would have broken that year, rule that you had, but still been somebody way older than my son because I'm an old dad. I'm 50 years old and he's 14. So that doesn't work.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
It has to be a percentage.
Anyway. Yep.
Yeah.
Well, it doesn't say anywhere in the Bible that your spouse has to be older than your children. It's just
wow. I'm not judging. You guys do you. I'm just saying for me, nope.
Yeah,
I'm not judging
this
anybody.
is why I date old ladies.
I know, right?
I like being the young one. I like being the young one,
Well,
yeah.
And the thing about it is that there's
Picking
even
them up at the quilting shop.
Hey, you should see Dick. You should see women's faces
Sorry,
when I
Purple.
walk into Michael's.
Yeah. Awesome.
That's badass, Dick.
Sorry,
I just
Purple.
want
Go
you
ahead.
guys to know that from now on, I've made a decision. Dick and I have known each other for like a fucking good solid year now, and we've always gotten along and shit. So I've decided he's my dick. So from now on, when he comes on, I'm gonna go. Everybody say hi to my dick.
Okay.
Just remember the rule: if you
So
shake
you're
it more than
claiming him,
twice,
huh?
just remember the rule: if you shake it more than twice, you're just playing with it.
You can't shake Dick.
Yeah.
He's too big, man.
That's what you do.
We're gonna have to make the lower half of B's avatar, and he'll undo his pants, and I'll pop out.
I think you just have your opening. Bam. There you go. Bam.
Oh God, that's funny.
Doorknob head says picking them up at the quilting shop. Scribbles note.
Oh, recently
Well,
I picked up a subscriber at someone at my local Joann's because they moved it to this giant Imperium, like out in the middle of nowhere. I don't know why they made it so huge, but I was like, oh, they're like, you sew? I said, yeah, I go by Godless Sewing. Check me out. And I said it loudly. And you know what? By the time I got home, I had a new subscriber.
So, which
I shamelessly self-promote.
Godless, I'll say this right now. For the last 20 days or so, you are always in my recommended feed.
Really?
And I think YouTube has a thing for you right now, and you need to maximize it hardcore with clickbait, wow, thumbnail action. I'm not kidding. This isn't just like lip service or whatever, but I have seen you repeatedly in my recommended feed recently, and that's because, you know, I've been on a couple of shows where, you know, you're on. But that shows that YouTube, you know, there's something there. And I really think if you, you know, you don't want to sucker people in like bullshit style, but, you know, think about what you're doing and some innuendo and whatnot.
It's ironic because YouTube has been fighting me at every effing turn.
Oh,
lately.
they do it to us. They do it to us real bad. But I think right now, YouTube is almost on your side. And I think this is a moment to jump on because you're in my feed like every day right now.
Well, Will, I think what's making the rapid growth for you, you know, is you were saying that you're getting a lot of people from like sewing groups and that following you. And I think YouTube has just picked up on your channels growing rapidly. And based on that, it's recommending you more.
And I also started going into like, you know, finding YouTubers who sew too, you know.
What I would suggest, Godless, is you got to do that thing where you do a facial expression pose, you know, that can be edited out and then put on a thumbnail that suits the text on the thumbnail. And always remember, the text in the thumbnail should never be the same as in the title because they're going to see both, right? One has to highlight the other.
I just caught up on that recently, where I just recently started putting different titles on my thumbnail than my actual.
You need to produce one of those short videos. And since you live in Hollywood, I have a suggestion: go to a prop shop or something and get yourself a fake finger, and then just put a 30-second video of you sewing your finger.
I have a fake hand right here, right now. I'm ready to go, coach. I'm on the bench. Put me in.
Yeah, actually, Jenny makes a good point. If you could, you know, throw one or two shorts out there because YouTube really wants to promote those now to compete with to compete.
Yeah.
Well, I have a rig for my car, and I always
Godless. Take the short and edit your channel. Go to your channel thing and edit, and so that the short is the thing that people see if they're landing on your channel for the first time. YouTube loves that because now you're really promoting it, right?
No, I agree. I'm more techie now than I was a year ago. So I know I agree with you. I need to put a short up because a year ago I tried, but I could not shut my mouth for less than like a minute and a half. I tried over and over and over. Even like I tried to make my solar panel video a short, and that was like a 3-minute video.
You know, Godless, to be honest, your best shorts have probably already been said, and they're clips from live streams you've already been on when you were off the cuff and honest.
Oh, like when I said horse dick and I thought atheist edge, like I literally saw him turn sheet white. That was awesome.
See, those are the moments. You want to go back and clip those moments and turn them into shorts. That's what you want, right?
Fuck yeah.
No, I agree because my channel, like my singer video, it's at like 1.5 thousand.
You know, is that the one with the old sewing machine? No, I actually got into refurbishing and reselling sewing machines because I sold one for $900 and I'm addicted to money. And so I'm like, oh, let me buy another one. And I sold another one, and then I sold another one. And because I'm technically inclined, I just started fixing them.
Yep.
Well, there's a video of yours from not too far back where you're using an old sewing machine, and YouTube is determined that I watched that video at least once. And oh my God.
I'm kind of shocked to hear this because I'm so effing cheesed off with YouTube right now. It's not even funny.
Oh no, it keeps throwing your stuff in my feeds too, but you know, it's stuff, you know, I've already watched it when it came out, but still recommending it again.
They have rejected every thumbnail I've put up to the point where I go and get stock photos off the internet, or a picture that I walk outside and take with my phone.
Yeah, I wanted to say what Doorknob said here about seeing a girl put a needle through her finger. I have removed sewing needles from at least 4 different people where it went completely through the hand or the foot.
I actually did that with like 100-year-old.
Yeah, that I had to take the pliers and the alcohol and pull the needle out and clean up the wounds because they couldn't even look at it.
Ow.
I did that with a 100-year-old singer in my dad's office after he passed away. I like tried to grab it emotionally, and I didn't realize that the needle was up, and it ripped right through my finger. Right through my finger. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. I put that thing in storage where it belongs. No, what do you, like, honestly, that's like a how much are those things? Those things are worth thousands and thousands of dollars. Like, I'm not even gonna play with it. I'm gonna sell
no,
it.
they're not. You can find them. You can go to Craigslist right now and you'd find 20 or 30 of them.
His is a $18.99.
Well, maybe, but there's old ones everywhere.
No, I agree with you, because like I have one that's from the 30s, one from the 40s. My that new home is from 1920 something, and it still runs. The plug even works. Someone fashioned a plug, and it works. Oh, the Kings are destroying the Penguins.
Oh, that's NHL.
Wow. I'm actually kind of shocked.
What's the score?
It's 5-2.
5-2?
Yeah.
Wow.
The Penguins are rippers this year. I was forced to buy ESPN Plus because they've privatized hockey. So I watch everybody. I know what's going on this year.
I'm betting not all the Penguins use their lasers.
I'm thinking the Kings pulled Gretzky out of retirement.
Yeah, we're stinky this year, but because we play on the West Coast, we're in 3rd place. You know, you're laughing because you know it's true. I accept it when I know when my team sucks.
Gretzky was so good.
Yeah, NHL puck that. That's funny.
I gotta go to the can again. Besides Bo Jackson, Wayne Gretzky is the greatest athlete I've ever seen in person.
He revolutionized hockey. You know, before hockey, before Gretzky, hockey was this, wham bam, brutal, just absolutely brutal sport where the whole intent was to go as fast as you can and crash into somebody. And Gretzky taught them how to skate.
Oh God. He rewrote everything. Like, he took the Guy Lafleur, Bobby Orr style from previous to a whole new level of, I don't care what kind of, you want to throw it around. I got McSorley and whatnot. Yeah, that's no problem. I'm still going to punk you right off. It was amazing.
Hey, did you hear the good news today? Good political news today?
There was some go.
A whole bunch of the members and leadership of Oath Keepers have been arrested and charged with sedition and those kinds of very, very deadly, serious charges.
No, I hadn't heard.
Good. You did nail every bastard like all of them.
Yeah, well, they need to start getting some of the people who are actually, higher up. They've been kind of trying to pacify people by, going after some of the January 6 rioters.
That's not why they do that. They go after the little guys first because little guys are scared to death, and they squeal and they give you information. Then go get the big guys.
Yeah, they're hoping to get more information out of them.
And it's proceeding. Everybody's whining about Merrick Garland. Merrick Garland was the DA on a few cases that we've all heard of, like the Oklahoma bomber, for the Unabomber bomber, and a couple other major cases. And the one thing he has a reputation for that nobody seems to be aware of is there has never ever been any kind of leak whatsoever out of any of his investigations. So we don't hear nothing about what he's doing right now, and everybody's, well, what's he fucking doing? Oh, he's a Republican. What's well? No, man, he's keeping it quiet under his coat, and man, there's going to be some badass trouble for some people when he's ready. It's just, we'll see. I have faith in him.
Wow.
Are we talking about Voldemort?
Fucking well.
Sorry, I went out and peed. Sorry, I'm back out from the weeds,
No,
left
dude.
field. You're talking about the T
Yeah, dude.
word, the wrong
Yeah.
T word.
Yeah, pretty much.
Oh, I can't stand that guy. I watch a lot of House Sparks, and Trump is still woofing. He still thinks he won. He looks like everybody's senile uncle at this point.
Yes, he does.
Oh, and his tan job just gets worse and worse.
Oh my god, no, it's horrible, isn't it? I don't
Somebody
even
put-
look at him and be like, "That's my leader sent by God." What the fuck are you talking about?
somebody
It literally blows my mind.
somebody published some more pictures of him at some event where he pissed in his pants.
Are you serious?
The man has issues and he's wearing diapers. You know, I will never pick on him for that.
Jesus.
40 years of Adderall and cocaine will do that to you. 40 years of getting wasted. You know, hey, this is another disclaimer from Godless Sewing, kids. A lifetime of drugs will lead you to wearing a diaper when you're older. I'm just saying.
Nobody, I think, questions how I feel about the T-boy.
Yeah.
But he does have the reputation of never having a single drug in his life. Not alcohol, not pot, not cigarettes, nothing. Because of how he saw some of his relatives degrade and die from him. That he's been absolutely clean his entire life.
Wow.
Have you seen his son?
I'm not talking about his son.
He's a pothead. He's like fucked up pothead.
Oh, he's a
wasted in his
cokehead.
brain.
I wish I was
Is
that
he doing
rich.
coke too?
I'm not even talking shit. I'm just jealous. I wish I was that rich. But he's a fucking cokehead.
I'm not talking shit. I'm jealous.
It's true. It's true. He's like unobtainable rich. You know, so he walks out and his garden looks like that shit you see at the museum, you know, where the well-kept roses.
Well, it just bothers me when they publish pictures like that. I have an incontinence problem too, and it's really embarrassing sometimes.
I agree with you, but as somebody who works at a facility that takes care of special needs adults and grew up my entire childhood around people who took care of special needs adults, he made fun of a man for his arm being inverted, for being born that.
Yeah.
I don't feel sorry for him. You get what you you get what you get.
Well,
if you throw a punch, be ready to get one.
All right, let me try this. I can't think of another person who I would not feel as uncaring about if they came down with something like that.
I would give it to you if it was anybody else except for Voldemort. I just can't, like, every time he talks, I'm like, I can't fucking stand you. I stopped watching American news while he was president. I started watching House Sparks, but when he does interviews, I can't watch it. Trump makes me want to throw up.
Oh man, he drives me crazy.
And he's lying. He's lying
all the time.
Like, fuck. Just stop, bro. Stop, man. You know, in 2000, there was a tuck where the Patriots ended up beating the Raiders, and that was the beginning of the Tom Brady era. I'm still mad about it, but I'm over it. It was shitty officiating. It was 19 something years ago. Tom Brady is the GOAT for real, but like, you know, I'm still mad about it, but I got over it, you know. Trump is lying to himself.
As a Canadian, the whole election's coming up, right? And it comes down to Trump versus what's his nuts there? Yeah. And so, as a Canadian, you know, Trump is the business guy that's had a few bankruptcies, and he's obviously like a total shark, and, you know, the kind of greed is good from the 80s, you know, Wall Street movie sort of story that nobody wants. And it was kind of like Eddie Murphy doing the whole thing. Like, can you imagine if, you know, like Jesse Jackson was running for president, you know, white folk could be running around going, you know, all drunk and shit. I just voted for Jesse Jackson. And then they wake up in the morning and like, he fucking won. And to me, it was the same thing. Like when I woke up in the morning and Americans actually elected Trump, all of Canada were like, what? You know, it was funny when Sonny and Cher was congressman or whatever it was. And then you had the governor and whatnot, you know, and what's his name there? Clint Eastwood held office for a bit and stuff, right? But all of a sudden, Donald fucking Trump is in power? Like, oh my God. When like, you know, up in Canada, we were just like, what the fuck happened? How could this even be?
We were like that here too, buddy.
And let it be known that Arnold Schwarzenegger destroyed California. That's why we'll never have a Republican governor ever.
Well, Trump won because the Democrats pissed off so many of their own voters by not supporting Bernie. So then a significant number of the Democrats just decided, fuck it, we're not voting.
That's not inter-party fighting. Is obviously not the answer, because look what happens. I mean, Donald Trump was one step away from, you know, Donald, what would you like your name to be? I choose Genghis Khan. You know, like, fuck.
But his army wasn't as strong as he thought it was. It's a bunch of people that live with their mom, really.
And again, Trump might have succeeded.
You know,
if during his entire term in office, he wasn't constantly pissing off everyone at the Pentagon.
Yo, my God. And
he just couldn't get any support from the military high-ups.
And this whole stolen election and blah, blah, blah thing. Every other leader in the world is looking on going, dude, I can't do that in public. There's no way I can support you. And the whole world is like, if you ever get power again, all we can do is shun you because we have to hold respect within our own countries, you stupid son of a bitch. So there's no angle where this ever works for him. He has fucked it up so badly, it's not funny.
Oh yeah, no return.
He's trashing Mitch. He's trashing Mitch McConnell. Hopefully, this is the implosion of the Republican Party. But the Democrats don't have much to offer either. I'm going to move to the moon. I'll see you guys later.
I keep saying that.
Well, I'm out.
Yeah, fuck Earth.
Fuck this
Neither party can win this year's election. It's just a matter of which party will do a better job of losing it. Because the Democrats aren't giving anyone a reason to vote for them. So their only hope is that the Republicans will create such a schism between the people who still want Trump and the people who are trying to distance from him.
Well,
you know, that they splinter their own vote.
Right now, the same people that resoundingly voted for Gavin Newsom want to huck a loogie on him for all the mandates and all the things. Like the day he got elected, he's like, all right, you thought I was bad then. Here's even more. Yeah. And so now those same people who voted him might vote his ass out next election, you know? So it's crazy times everywhere. They're just mad.
You know,
and because Trump said in an interview now that he is fully vaccinated, even part of his own base is starting to turn on him.
Oh, I love that. Oh, I'm sorry. I gotta get my cynical, sexy voice on. When they booed him, I was in the corner like, oh yeah, this is awesome. Boo him some more, please. He does all kinds of shit that you guys can't afford to do.
I know an old Portuguese guy in town here, and he's got a really good idea that I wholeheartedly support. So his saying is, and he said this many times, granted drunk, but still it holds weight, right? But it's all political advertising when it comes to, debate run-ups and elections and so on and so forth. No party should be able to talk about the other party. You should only legally be able to say what you yourself and your party are, what your platform is and why we should fucking care. There should be no legal position to ever talk about the other party.
Right.
Yeah, I wish
Agreed.
we could run things that way because the Republicans would have to shut up. Because
Right?
the Republicans,
God, Purple.
the Republicans
And
are
Purple-
openly saying that their only platform is to obstruct everything the Democrats propose.
I was about
And
to
that's
say-
bullshit, right? Because Purple,
Agreed.
when it comes to things that, oh my God, there's something bad in the background and yada, yada, blah, blah, blah. We have the press and everything for that. We don't need it to be in the politics, right?
Yeah.
Well, it used to be separated, but now, I hate to get all libertarian on you, but in America, at least, because of corporations, people literally pick sides because they're paid to.
That's right. Yeah.
So if someone works for Fox News, even here locally in Los Angeles, where our Fox News is extremely left, like if you watch Fox 11 here in Los Angeles, their newscasters are either black or Pacific Island or something because it's reflecting the area, But when they go out in their remotes, people are like, F Fox News, because they have a crappy reputation.
Yep.
Well, that largely depends on who owns their franchise. Back in Milwaukee, we had a TV station, Channel 6, was for years one of the mainstream big three franchises, and then the shifts in the city happened. The new UHF station came in, and suddenly Channel 6 is on the outside, and they have to find somebody to affiliate with, and the only thing that was out there was Fox, and so they went with Fox. But they had a reputation of being extremely liberal, and doing all kinds of neighborhood projects and stuff like that, and continued that. And to this day, as best I know, there's still this very liberal station that happens to have to carry Fox stuff.
True. It just depends on where you live and where you're from.
What the big problem was for a few years back is that they were a Storer station. That Storer Communications was their parent company, and then it was bought by Sinclair Media.
Mhm.
And Sinclair is not only a notorious conservative, but will demand or force their various affiliates to put on certain fake news.
Yeah,
That's
they will
masked
give
as
them
news, but
scripts
it's
that
actually
they
a political
expect them to
statement. And they fought a lot of that for a long time. I don't really know where it's at now because I've been gone away long enough. But it depends on what the station is, what the market is, and very much who the owner of the franchise is.
Wow.
And whether or not they follow Fox. We
I
have a
feel
Fox station up here in the La Crosse area too that is not only not Fox, but it's this puny like fourth or fifth tier station. It's real classic up north stupid news.
You know what though? When I moved away from Los Angeles, it was shocking to me to not see famous people on the news, because in LA everything's about butt snorkeling. It's like, oh, what is Britney Spears shaved her head today? Butt snorkeling, kissing ass.
Oh yeah.
And like, oh, Britney Spears farted, or like, and the truth is, most people in LA, no one cares because there's all kinds of crazy stuff that goes on they never talk about.
Of course, yeah.
When I was younger, I lived in Arizona. All they did was talk about local news. And it dawned on me, everywhere else except for major cities, they actually show news. Like when I lived in Oregon as well, same thing. Hey, something happened on Powell. Something happened on this street. They'd let you know, like, hey, if you live around here, keep your head up. In LA,
Jenny,
it's not like that at all.
Doorknob had a saying, so hashtag not all Fox stations is what I'm hearing.
No, even in LA, our Fox News is all people of color. So no, not all, I guess.
I'm just saying you have to separate the national broadcast of Fox and the local broadcast. They're very different entities.
They can be, depending on the local managers, yeah.
I watch a gang of Fox Sports. They don't they don't have politics on there.
That's because politics has too many syllables.
Come on, I'm just trying to keep. I'm trying not to look at my TV. The Kings actually might win tonight.
Is this a ritual? They win if you don't watch them?
No, you know what? Like I said earlier, I don't lie to myself. And the Kings they're middle of the road this year, and they've been stinky for 8-9 years. In my lifetime, my hockey team has won 2 cups. So I'm not like a Montreal Canadiens fan where they're claiming cups from before they were even born, And the second one, I actually got to go to a game, but my team stinks, and I accept it for what it is.
Oh, in your lifetime, yeah.
No, because I think it's weird when people will argue about a soccer game that they weren't alive to see, or like a hockey game that they weren't like. I watch a lot of hockey on YouTube. I love the old school games. You'll see some guy smoking in the stadium. But I'm not gonna get to fight over it.
But Godless, that's it. You get arguments over the old school games, but if they're available to be watched and analyzed, there's always going to be an ample amount of armchair analysts that have an opinion that, God forbid, you disagree with, right?
Oh yeah.
This is why I had a little bit of respect for Chicago Cubs fans. It's easy to be a fan of a team that wins once in a while. The Cubs went 100 years without a pennant.
Yeah, right.
That's true.
Well,
That's like
Boston Red Sox too. They had perennial almost got to the top.
Yeah, and Jenny, the Indians too, because without the Indian slump, we wouldn't have the movie Major League, and damn, that's funny. Oh, I love that one.
Wild Thing, which is the greatest name for a picture ever.
Jinx, by the way, Jenny, Jinx. Still to this day, first off, I made a shirt. I'm not gonna go get it because I've been feeling like shit lately, but I made a Wild Thing shirt. But because the Native American logos have been phased out, I don't wear it anymore because LA's super woke and super politically correct. So someone will say something to me. People that are not even Native American will say something to me. But I have it has the Major League logo, the screaming baseball. It has a Cleveland Indian on one side, and then I have Charlie Sheen, and it says Wild Thing on the back with the mohawk.
By the way,
awesome.
The audience crowds in that were filmed in Milwaukee at Milwaukee County Stadium.
Yes,
and they paid people to be the extras in the stands. It was like 3 days of shooting.
Some of the backstories, Jenny, of that movie are absolutely awesome. Like, it sounds like it was an amazing place to be shooting that movie too. I've read a lot of it. It's really fun. It's one of those moments. It's a movie that you wish you could watch again for the first time.
Oh, Willie Mays Hayes. I loved that movie. That was my movie.
Hey, Willie Mays.
That was totally my movie.
I run like Maze, but I hit like Hayes. And then what's his name says, well, you may run like Maze, but
you hit like shit. I have a Jobu t-shirt that I wear.
No way.
Oh, heck yeah. I'm hardcore when it comes to Major League. That whole era of movies in general, people gave a shit back then. So those movies had meaning, you know.
So there was the gags and the interaction and the chat and stuff came together. It's not like no offense to anybody, but modern movies for the humor are a bit Family Guy, where it's almost a cut scene, you know, and it's
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's like you don't get Caddyshack anymore. It's gone.
Yeah, the jokes interrupt the action. They don't flow from the dialogue.
Exactly. I hate that.
What's that movie with Tom? Have you guys ever seen The Burbs? Is that what it's called?
Oh
Tom
gosh, yeah. That's
I
shit.
fucking love that movie. You don't.
So good.
I still watch that stuff because TV nowadays, it doesn't make me laugh.
Yeah.
It doesn't. And I'll like it's no secret I watch a lot of old BBC stuff. I'll watch something from the 70s. I'm like on the floor laughing, you know. Some of this stuff my kid watches, I'm like, wow, they're trying too hard.
Yeah.
Well,
I hear that 100% because my son, he's 14, but he's on the spectrum, right? So I lead a different life. I homeschool him and whatnot.
Same.
And his favorites, Godless. You'll relate to this entirely. He likes Monty Python, but even more than the movies, Flying Circus, and we watch Dave Allen, right? Right, you know, and
awesome.
And this year, Godless, for Christmas, I got him an Audio Technica turntable and some Edifier flat reference speakers and some vinyl and stuff. And,
that's awesome.
And
that's
awesome. His choices, dude, were Elvis, the Beatles, Supertramp, the Eagles, right? Like it's
recently my son, I walked by his room and I'm like, is that Judas Priest? And I'm like, no. And I poke my head in and I'm like,
yes.
I'm just checking. And I'm like, parenting done right. I did something right. So he's going when my son was younger, he was really into like, you know, war movies and stuff. Dick, have you ever heard of Sabathon?
Yes.
So Sabathon, they're a European band. Well, when they came to LA, I took Isaiah to go see Sabathon. These mother effers brought a tank out on stage. It was awesome. It was absolute, they put on a show, and like because Isaiah has ASD, I knew the words to all the songs because we listened to them over and over and over again.
Nice.
But yeah. Oh yeah, I love the fact that my son's into metal. And
nice.
Plus, he's like, he started listening to Metallica, and I'm like, all right, let's go over to Grandma's house. I took him over to my mom's house, and I'm like, go grab that box. I gave him all my old Metallica, Pearl Jam, like all my old shirts, because we're about the same size, you know. And I was like, you know, these were retired. Take them.
Awesome.
There you go.
No.
Awesome. You know, Godless, when it comes to parenting, we have stories to tell. But also, Amy and I are just starting to structure season 2 of our autism show on the Shills channel. And I really want to get you on as a regular.
Oh, I'll come on. I'll give all kind of cautionary tales. Take a CPR class. I've given my kid the Heimlich 8 times. Get your
serious, man?
Really?
Oh yeah.
How come?
Yeah.
Well,
also what we're gonna do is we're gonna bring the kids on as well, and we're gonna make it a free for all, right? Like it's you know, we're gonna do live in your face. You know, this is how it is.
Oh, my kid will give you PTSD. He's hardcore. My kid's hardcore.
Let's do it.
He really is.
He's got opinions. Because he'll ask you to join his militia.
You might want to interview him first.
Yeah, no. My kid.
Oh
Like,
no,
really
we want this raw
hardcore,
because
dude.
Amy's son is 16, my son is 14. We got Tornado and Mom NATO that are going to be coming on as well because he's on the spectrum and like 21 and stuff. And we've got some real plans for some real, like it's going to be. We're gonna, everybody knows what they're doing in so far as you could say the lasso of the moment. And we should be able to really present something that's like, very educational and fun and whatnot. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, man.
And also like just like I always say about race and anything else, they're just like us.
Yeah, man.
The real differences are the ones that we make. Like in the end, like
yeah, I agree.
ASD, or regardless, I play the game in my head like, is this autism or is this genetics? Like he'll do something and I'm like, oh, I used to do that when I was a kid. Oh, I used to do that when I was a kid, because we're so much on if our kid has a disability. But in the end, like people are people, and he does all kinds of stuff to piss me off. Like I'm a super lefty. And so is his mom. His mom is an Irish white woman, and she marches with BLM. And he's like total right wing, and he does it to piss off his mom and I. Oh, he says all kinds of crazy stuff, But I remember, being opposite politics to my parents just to piss off my parents.
Hey, can I say
Yeah,
something?
I think we all did that.
Yeah.
As a person who has nobody in my life who is autistic, I'm talking IRL, of course, and immediate family and stuff, and who really never even heard of autism till like late 80s, early 90s. Not
Right.
I shouldn't say that. Did begin to even hear descriptions and more broad coverage and understanding of autism. I still have tons and tons of questions. And I think one of the things that would really be good if some show, yours or someone else's, could do is to show.
Oh,
We
damn
lost
it.
Jenny.
It's always
Yeah,
at the
just-
good part. Always.
I
at the good
know.
part.
Sewing, no shit,
I saw
right?
that.
Every
Like,
time.
Wait a minute.
Jenny, you got to go back to, hopefully a show like yours. Oh, fuck.
Well, she's probably just going to rejoin to reset her connection.
Yeah. I swear to God, when it comes to streaming, YouTube, Google, StreamYard, doesn't matter what service you're doing, when somebody has something important to say, it's going to fuck with your shit, right?
Yeah, it does. Okay, I'm back. I touched somewhere on the screen. and it went nuts. Anyways, I think where I left off was as somebody who doesn't have family and what I'd really like to see in a show,
in the
it would
80s
be
or 90s, nobody really heard of it. Go from there.
okay. See, now you interrupted me. Like, okay.
Oh, I'm sorry.
If somebody could on a show us the diversity of the spectrum. I mean, some people's vision of autism is this completely dysfunctional, dangerous, combative, rolled up in a fetal position in the corner, spitting child who grows into an adult that's that.
Jenny,
to things like the TV show on the doctor, the good doctor, where he's got autism and has issues and acts out and stuff, but he's a respected physician, and show that in real life and show what folks really are like with autism and take some of the fear factor out of it for people who don't know anything about it.
That's exactly the goal of the show. We did a 10 or a 12 part show about a year and a half ago, and they were very much like PowerPoint presentations talking about autism and stuff. And and they serve the groundwork, the foundation for bringing people in so that we could, do the real life stuff. And it's taken us in the background at least a year to figure out, okay, we got to watch for these triggers. So we have a list, and you have a little Word document you bring up, and so on and so forth. But we're trying to make it so that, for somebody who's triggered easy on the autism spectrum and can escalate on a moment's notice, we got to make it a safe place, but yet still show the reality of it. And it's a hard balance. I think we're close to being ready to bring it out. And we're saying screw it because we want it out by the end of January. So it'll be out real soon. But it's going to be pretty raw. It's going to be, not always, sometimes it'll be amazing and you'll be like, wow, that's so cool. And sometimes you'll be like, wow, that was an intense moment. And, but it's always going to be real, and it's always going to be exactly what it is. Right.
I don't think the average person would be able to hang with my son's murder mouth. Like he'll walk in, I'll see him breathing heavy, and I'm like, he just watched a YouTube video about something, and he will tell me the law. He'll tell me both sides, and then he'll tell me why he utterly and completely wants to do something evil to this person. I call it murder mouth. It's just, but he's so intense and involved. Like,
yeah. Mine loves to watch things that he shouldn't watch, like are older than him, and really foul language and stuff. But he knows he's not allowed to say it, so he edits it and he finds other words to use to fill in the blanks, so he can get away with scripting it and whatnot. You know what I mean, right?
Oh, totally.
And it's so funny because he'll come downstairs and he'll have watched a new Monty Python skit where they were like live at the Hollywood Bowl, so there's some swearing, and he'll edit them, and instead of saying you fucker, he'll say bugger because that's the British word and whatnot, and it's really creative, and I just applaud it. I'm like, well done. You know what I mean? You got to appreciate it.
Really
but
quick,
these are the differences we have to highlight and talk about, right?
Oh, absolutely.
Because the whole idea is it's a spectrum for a reason, right? Yeah. And I think this could be a really good show because, Purple has some spectrum issues. Me, myself, my son would have been diagnosed on the autism spectrum 6 months before he was. He was diagnosed near 3, but he could have been earlier. Some of his behavior to me was normal. And then this one person in one of his little daycare situations was like, well, maybe you are on the spectrum slightly. And so that triggered the whole thing. But you see what I mean, right?
Well, like Jenny was saying that, 80s, even into the 90s, nobody really knew what it was. So I didn't even hear about autism until the early 90s. So, I grew up with it. I was like, in my 30s before I even knew what it was. And then it was like, a lot of this is seeming familiar.
Yeah.
I feel kind of fortunate because I grew up in the field. Both of my parents, they own a property. My mom still owns the property or whatever, but it's not easy having a child with ASD at all. And I have full training, certification. I have CPR training and everything, and it's not easy.
I have to step away. I'll be right back.
Okay.
Well, and Dick, what you were saying about him editing himself, and it's like, I've always done that too, and I watched a lot of British humor growing up. My mom never got it. My mom never got British humor at all. She never understood what I was watching, which is probably why I got away with watching it.
Still to this day,
even to this day, I'll use bloody a lot. I'll use the British curse words because I got away with those because nobody knew I was cursing.
Yeah, me too.
At every IEP meeting, my ex-wife and I are shocked when the teachers are like, "Oh, your son's an angel." He doesn't curse or anything. We're going on almost 4 years in a row. And my son, he uses discretion, and I respect it. He uses more discretion than I do.
Nice.
Really?
You see me on the road. Oh, I don't know what it is, but he
Apparently,
knows.
he's a lot better about that at school than when he's in the background and you're streaming.
You know what? You know what the funny thing is? Like, because we hang out all day, every day, okay? And when it's just him and I, when I don't have the computer on, when I'm not on the phone, he won't even come out here. Especially with homeschooling, like, but if I'm online or on the phone, he wants to be involved. But it's because like my dad was the boss and he looks at himself like me, like, oh, I'm going to inherit my dad's job. And so he takes, you know, it's funny to watch.
That's cool. Can I tell a quick story? I had something really cool happen to me today. It'll take me a couple of minutes, but I'll try to condense it quite quickly.
Go ahead. We got time.
Oh, okay. Because this was a big deal for me. Like, I'm still vibrating. It's so cool. So, I had a big meeting with the educators my son works with in his online schooling program. I homeschool him, right? And they've noticed a serious uptake in his learning in the last year and a half since he's been on the program. And they wanted to, see a video of myself working with them. And they were, the main teacher was like, could you use your phone and sort of record yourself, working with Felix so we could see, And I was like, well, I could do better than that because I'm a YouTube streamer. So I'll fire up OBS and I'll do a screen capture, but I can also do a webcam capture and the audio. So you can see both at once, like those YouTubers that do game streams. And she was like, okay, wow, that's really cool. Could you make it so it's easy for other parents to do that? And so I looked it up quick and I can find some really simple webcam, grab software and stuff. And I was like, yeah, no problem. So we were talking more and, how could we integrate this into their schooling thing? And they want to make more of an online community because, this school is specifically based in online learning. And they're looking for a way to integrate sort of like forums and text rooms and stuff into the online schooling to make it more of a community. And well, that's Discord, right? So I started, I was talking to the teacher and I said, look, get the principal in here, I'll fire up a Google Meets. And they're like, oh, okay, we have that. No, I got a paid account. It's fine. And they were laughing. But so we fire up a Google Meets. I'm like, look, that's Discord. Here, let me show you. We could set you up a server and you can have different rooms for the different grades. And you could have a recess for elementary and middle school and high school. And they can, chat within their age groups there. And you can have an auditorium where you can show movies and people can have a text room to talk while they're watching the movies and blah, blah. And they were losing their shit, right? They were like, this is exactly what we've wanted for like a few years. But it seemed like it was thousands and thousands of dollars in custom technology. I'm like, fuck, it's free shit. Here, I'll show you. So in the background, all afternoon today, I started building their custom Discord server. And I brought Amy Hogan and Mippet69 from the Shills in. They're helping me set the permissions and everything. And we're structuring a Discord server for my son's online school right now so they can, properly get a community built. And I think it's just the best thing ever. And I'm so excited,
No, that is fucking awesome, man. I mean, good
right?
for you, number one. But the whole team has an effort, like everybody going, yes, let's do this. That's fucking amazing.
Yeah.
That's great.
That's great that you're setting that up and making them aware that, there's stuff out there that they didn't know they could use.
That is.
Oh, yeah.
Because meanwhile in California, I'm about to abscond, move to Montana, and join a militia. I'm so pissed off at the school district right now.
Well, Godless, that's what I'm doing. Step up, because now that I realize our voices can be heard, holy shit, it's time to act. And
Well, the thing is,
you can.
it's not about me. Like the one thing I'm pissed about is I can afford the homeschooling. Well, I recently found out there's a whole crop of kids that aren't going to school because they're either, you know, there's always something holding them back, but they're special needs and they're not going to school, and the district
That's right.
doesn't care. It just doesn't
Yeah.
care, you know? So I brought it up at a meeting because I'm a total Karen. Total Karen. I have big eyebrows. I brush them to the side, you know? So I'm appalled at our school district right now.
You know, I bet you would be a really good Karen. Well, really horrible Karen.
I'm the worst. I'm the worst because
is that a good or a bad Karen?
I grew up super entitled middle class, so I want everything that's written on the contract now, right now, and I don't back down. I'm not scared. You can call the cops. I don't have any warrants. Go ahead, call the cops. Every car's in my name. Go right ahead. No, I go to board meetings and everything. They try to put a prison over by the ranch, and like my mom called me and was like, "Well, you want to come to the meeting?" I was like, I don't know. And she's like, "Well, last time they tried to intimidate the old ladies." I said, "I'll be there in 5 minutes." I don't mess around. I come to fight, especially at board meetings. But they were trying to put a prison in a residential area, and we were like, "It's illegal."
Hey, nobody puts baby in a corner.
I have a shirt that says that, and it's Picard holding Riker. No, it's actually one of my favorite shirts. I wear it all the time.
Oh, that's amazing.
Yeah, man, I am a real life. I'm a nightmare of I'm not scared of the cops. Like, yeah.
Well, you know, dude, that's how I got into my situation, because they started talking about how they wanted to do this and that in the coming future when they started getting to know me being, you know, the streaming tech guy that I am, right? And they were like, "Oh, we want to do this and that." And I was like, "Oh, fuck, that's easy." And before you knew it, you know, there's a big thing. It's you know, if you actually speak up about what you know and what you can do within the educational system for your children, you just might be surprised at the goddamn change you could be a part of. I highly recommend everybody try it, right?
It's the only reason my son and people like him have decent schooling is because someone like me refuses to back down. Because you have to be an advocate for your kid or yourself in general, because people get complacent and lazy. And
dude, it's like being Rocky. You have to step up. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah. And even people with good intentions still get complacent. You know, I've worked in the field, been around the field basically all my life, except for 10 years. I have to remind myself while I am there sometimes, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah, and I have to give my mom credit for that. She actually did change the schools. One of my sisters was the first girl in the state to take auto shop. They didn't want to let her in, but my mom went there, and when they told her the principal wasn't in and she knew he was there, she sat there for 3 hours and waited for him to come out.
Oh, damn. Nice. I have a dad coat. It's my one coat that doesn't have any curse words on it. And when I'm wearing that coat, that's I'm coming to fight somebody. I'm the same way. You have to.
Yeah, my mom just took the attitude that he'd have to use the bathroom eventually.
Well, it's in my situation, like, because I work in the field, there's a lot of people who say they have experience with people with ASD and they don't, or they don't have proper certifications or things like that. And I'm a stickler about that. Like, you're not allowed to be around my kid just because you want to be. Like, you have to have a reason to be, you know? So
yeah, check this out, it's Godless. So I moved into the townhouse complex that I live into right now about 3 years ago. And the first 5 days we move in, the neighbor comes and knocks on my door and says, "Hey, is that your son?" I said, "Yeah." And he goes, "He's really freaking me out right now. Could you call him in?" I said, "Nope. He's out in the general area where everybody's allowed to be. And if that's a little bit hard on you, you could come over and I'll talk you through it. But he's allowed to be there. It's your problem, not mine." And that's how it is, man. No fucking way.
I call that forced exposure. Like, no, when we're in a public area, you have no choice. I have to deal with all kinds of stuff I don't want to deal with, you know.
Oh yeah.
It's called life,
Godless,
bitch, right?
I got a saying. If I'm in line at a grocery store and my son is acting up a bit or whatnot, and somebody says, "Oh, blah blah blah," I'll look at them and say, "He's on the autism spectrum. What's your excuse?"
You know, I was thinking about this earlier. It's been a while, but I got famous for saying, "Can I fucking help you?"
Yeah.
Because not only do I have to like either deal with or not deal with what my son is going through, but now I have to deal with a grown-ass adult with a big mouth not minding their business. You know?
Yeah. You know, I used to make T-shirts. Like I had a printing business when my son was like 4 or 5 years old. It was a home-based one, right? And we used to make T-shirts and stuff. And I used to have a T-shirt that said, "Parenting advice not appreciated unless you also have a son on the spectrum." And
Nice.
my son had all kinds of great T-shirts like, "Don't ask me about my autism and I won't ask you about your dragon breath," and shit like that, right?
You're gonna have to bring a couple of those designs back out for the show.
Yeah. Good idea.
Most people leave me like honestly, most people leave me alone. It's been a long time since I've had to curse someone out. It's been a long time. I think
I enjoy those moments.
I think also though, where I live, there people are more inclined to see a person with special needs because there's facilities around here, and people with special needs are integrated into our town. So if you go to a grocery store, you're going to see a person with a special need. If you go to the mall, if you go to a hot dog, to Starbucks or something, So and also, autism's on TV everywhere.
We have it very much the same in our town. My town is only 30,000 strong, and we have a few centers that do fundraising events each year, like to help people on the spectrum and stuff. They're the centers that work with them, behavioral and so on and so forth, right? And the people at the grocery stores and the other shops I go to and whatnot, everybody knows my son. "Hey, Felix, how you doing, buddy?" and whatnot. And oh yeah, man, like that's how it goes in our town, right? Same. I would never go to a big city environment because my son would lose that. Like where I live, everybody knows him. Like when I walk down the street without him, people are like, "Hey, where's Felix?" They don't even know my name, but they fucking know him.
Oh, my son is famous around this town. When he was younger, he pulled a can of corn at the 99-cent store and brought down a full display of 1,000 cans, 1,000. Like he found the crux. Like he was at the perfect height. I don't know what the hell happened. I turned around. And there was a sea of cans of corn. I was like, "Oh shit, I am not paying for this."
Grab the kid and run.
Oh, we're famous. We are famous around here. But you know what though? I live in a major city, and I think it's because we go to the same places. People know us.
If you're in a major city, but you're still within your community, within the city, it still works, right?
Yeah. But I'll tell you, Mark Caesar, my son is abnormally good at math. and he gets in trouble a lot because he's really good at remembering credit card numbers.
Whoops.
Oh,
But he got a lifetime ban on the PlayStation. And so ever since he got the lifetime ban on the PlayStation, all of a sudden I don't have any mysterious charges on my credit card whatsoever. He's really good at math. And like,
Will, I wonder what happened, man.
He's doing math at 12 years old that I wasn't doing until I was in like the 11th or 12th grade.
Wow.
And he understands it to the point where I walked in one day and he's doing his math and I'm like, hey, I'm here. I'm here to help you. And he's like, you can't help me.
Because he knows.
No, that's the one thing. Like, I grew up around Black people, so I appreciate deadpan honesty. And the one thing about my son is that he doesn't even know he's being honest. He is like, I'm Picard and he's Data. He is excessively honest. He is
That's good.
He tells me all the time. He's told me on I say this all the time. Like, he'll watch my YouTube videos and he's like, that's cringy and you're showing your age. And he's like telling me like, no, we don't do that in the hip world. Like, we don't do that. Like, I would have all these transitions in my video
world.
And he walked up to me and he's like, your transitions are really cringy. And I was like, thanks. Because he gave me honest, you know, like he told me to my face, like, you're a boomer and you're showing it. Stop that. And where I'm from, we speak honestly to each other, you know.
And
so
Purple,
guys, not to interrupt, but I'm gonna jump off of here, and I'm trying to catch a good point where you guys aren't saying something profound.
Okay,
so I'm gonna go now. Thanks, Perps.
Okay, thanks for coming in.
Great night,
We'll
B.
see you later.
Bye bye.
Later, B.
Love you guys. Peace out.
Purple, as somebody who grew into it without the knowledge of what it was, your perspective is quite different, isn't it?
Yeah, well, like I said, I wasn't actually diagnosed with it until I was in my 40s. And actually, that was me self-diagnosing on the internet. But, you know, then I took that result to my therapist, and he was like, yeah, somebody probably should have caught this earlier.
I think also we have more
that was my life as well. Sorry.
We're you know, science is always improving and there's more ways to detect it, because I hate it when I hear someone say oh, but this wasn't around in my day. It's the same thing with oh, you just didn't believe in God, you know. It's the same argument to me with atheism and
sort
autism.
of, but like, you know, look at it from the Canadian point of view. Autism, you know, Asperger's, autism. In Canada, Asperger's doesn't exist anymore. It's just part of the spectrum now. And, you know, it's that educational growth where we had people that were obviously on the spectrum in history, except nobody knew it at the time. They were just slightly oddballs.
Well,
right?
I'm also thoroughly convinced that my dad was on the spectrum as well, and just nobody had any clue in his generation what it was.
Yeah, my father as well.
I have being an alcoholic was that he was trying to deal with it, and nobody knew what it was.
What's that, Jim?
I have a theory about the spectrum, and that is basically that there is either no spectrum at all, or we are all on the same spectrum.
I was just about to say, I feel the same way what Jenny's saying, because my dad was a genius and he was just kind of weird. But after he passed away, everybody was like, do you think he was autistic? And I'm like, no, he was just one of those eccentric genius types, you know?
I think it is more like everyone is on the spectrum, you know, but it's just what we classify as autistic are the people who, you know, stand out more. the ones that are more on the extreme edges.
Well, but that's part of the spectrum, that there's behaviors
Right,
and intensity are both on this
I
on the
agree.
spectrum.
I'm agreeing with you. I think it's a bell curve, and we're just talking about the people who are off the extreme end.
I agree with you.
I just say that there's no spectrum because it's a good way to argue.
We have a
I
saying.
don't believe that at all.
We have a saying in the field. It's don't overdiagnose. My dad used to do it, and it was so annoying because he was around people with special needs for so long. He thought he was a doctor, and he'd be like, "That person's on the spectrum," and I'd be like, "No, you're overdiagnosing people."
And I finally caught on enough that I have to explain a few things to people. The first thing is, don't ever tell me how to do something. Just tell me the end result you want and leave me the fuck alone. Because if you tell me a process to get there, I'm going to screw it up. If you just tell me the end result, I'll find a way to get there that won't make any sense to anyone else.
Yeah.
I'm like that. You should have. I'll never forget the first time I told Kitty I sewed without patterns, and she just looked at me like, "What?"
Yep.
But I'm the same way. Like, just tell me what you want, and I'll do it.
Could somebody explain to me what's the difference between autism and ADHD? I hear them get mixed up so frequently.
You can
they often come together.
Yeah.
Well, no, there is a slight difference, but the problem is the description I'm going to give is incorrect, but the analogy will make sense. So bear with me. The lighter side of autism does very much overlap ADHD because the lighter side of autism presents itself very much as an attention deficit thing. But the way to differentiate them is the way the learning happens within the situation you're in. So attention deficit is you have to get the person's attention on what you're trying to structure for the learning session. With autism, it's not so much getting their attention because that's easier to do actually. It's to get their attention in a way that they can personalize and actually then, bring in and make sense of. So on the surface, they seem the same, but the way you interact with and actually try to educate is actually different.
Yeah. Well, what I think
that's it.
Sorry. What I think for me, at least, the main thing about autism is at any given time, your senses are taking in more information than your brain can process. You can't take in everything your eyes are seeing all at once. But, when you grow up, you learn to filter. You learn what things to ignore and what things to focus on.
Mm-hmm.
And for me, at least, most of autism is not having the same kind of filters other people have.
That's one of the layers of autism. And that's where you get into the range of the spectrum, like high functioning, high level, and so on and so forth, right?
I was laughing because my son told me the other day that Faith No More was old people music.
Yeah, well, I'll pick up a bunch of details that no one else in the room will notice, but I'll miss things that are obvious to everyone else.
Yeah, well, that's the Sherlock Holmes side of it, right? That's how I see it, where you analyze the room and you're still sort of paying attention to the conversation, but only on the superficial level because, to the person on the spectrum, the conversation is only superficial at that point. So you might as well be tuned into something else. You see what I mean?
Oh, absolutely.
One of my autistic skills is that, anytime I come into a room, I can tell if anyone else has been through that room since the last time I was there. It'll be the slightest little thing if somebody left a pen on the desk at just a slightly different angle, something like that. But I
my
will
son
always
too.
pick up on that.
Yeah, my son has the photographic memory of autism, where when he was like 3.5 years old, I had to have 5 sets of the foamy letters that the kids play with on the ground, and he would take all the magnetic letters off the fridge and stuff, and he would go and he would do BBC Planet Earth. Episode 1, pole to pole, David Attenborough narrated and stuff, and we were just like, what the fuck, man? Seriously?
I agree with you, Mark Caesar. See, that's it. Just it made me laugh because my son he's just excessively honest. So he'll say things sometimes, and it murders me. It just makes me laugh.
Oh. I got so lucky because in the early 2000s, I was raising teenagers. And that was when we had the 70s retro craze.
Is there a commercial market so when you're raising teenagers, you can sell them off when they're like, still young and tender?
But I mean, I got so lucky with that my daughters couldn't rag on me about my music being lame because they were listening to the exact same albums I had when I was in high school.
That's why I freaked out when Isaiah was listening to Judas Priest. I was like, what? Are you kidding me? Go ahead. The only time I've ever walked in my son's room and been like, turn that SHIT off is he was watching a Jordan Peterson seminar.
Yeah.
Oh, I thought you'd say Bieber.
No, if you watch Bieber, that's okay. I respect your life choices. I may not agree with them, but I respect your Jordan Peterson. Like, I was like, no. Wait until.
And in addition to that, my oldest daughter's girlfriend had a crush on Ringo Starr.
Oh wow!
So she was listening to the Beatles all the time.
Hey, Doc. I was wondering where you were.
Hey, Doc. I saw you post something on Twitter. I was wondering why you weren't here.
Dick, Doc, Dick, Doc, Dick, Doc.
Doc, here's some.
But I obsessively listened to Faith No More, and it just made me laugh when my kid was like, this is for old people. Because I remember telling my dad that Willie Nelson and Johnny Cash was for old people. And he just looked at me and laughed. He just looked at me and laughed like, don't worry, kid, you'll be listening to it one day. And guess what? I am.
So one of my son's favorites is John Denver. It's one of the reasons I got him the turntable and stuff. We got a couple of John Denver records, and it's John Denver's Nature Lover, right? And my son has been a nature lover since he was born. Like David Attenborough is his hero. So when he discovered an old singer that did all about, eagles flying and stuff, it was just everything to him. It was great.
John Denver makes me cry. Puffy face. John Denver's awesome.
Totally.
My parents had a ton. I've been right now. If I went to my mom's house, she probably still has Jim Croce, John Denver, Janis Joplin.
I love Jim Croce.
Oh yeah. That's good.
Jim Croce and Gordon Lightfoot are probably what I've listened to the most in my life.
My mom had this thing. She was in love with the Rolling Stones. So I have love for the Rolling Stones. That was like one of the first bands that was like played over and over. Cool.
When I was like 3-4 years old, my father had an old Plymouth Fury with the like a badass whatever fast. Well, we're not going to do the car thing here, but I know cars real bad. Jenny and I have done this before, right? But Jim Croce was his hero, and he's my songwriting hero. Like, nobody can spin a tale like Operator or I Got a Name or whatnot like Jim Croce. He was the best.
That stuff reminds me of my childhood, like all of that stuff.
Yeah.
Carole King, all that stuff.
Joni Mitchell.
You can tell what era.
Joni Mitchell.
Joni Mitchell. I'll keep saying until somebody recognizes her.
Yep.
And Heart Heart. Oh my God, those girls can rock. Whoa,
Heart was
that's
awesome.
good stuff.
Heart, I still rock out to Heart to this very day.
Me too.
Well, also, after my fiance died, until I was able to get out of there, New York's Not My Home was my theme song.
Oh yeah, right. That's one of Crochet's best.
Yeah.
And,
Hey, everybody here is, with the exception of Will, 50 or over, but Will's getting pretty damn close.
yeah, yeah.
Do any of you have any taken the time to listen and read the lyrics to Joni Mitchell's "The Circle Game"?
I know it. Yeah.
If you haven't, that's your assignment for this week. You can find it on
That's a
YouTube,
good-
no problem.
I would put the Pretenders middle of the road on that list because I think everybody should know that song by heart. Or I will dress up as Chrissy Hine for Halloween and kick your ass myself.
Okay, I'd like to get together with you on that, please.
Yeah, yeah. You know what I mean, Jen? I mean, come on, right? Everybody's got to know some good Pretenders. Right? Like, if you don't know Brass in Pocket, then seriously, don't PM me on Discord because I have nothing to say to you.
But that's like me and the Scorpions. I've seen them like 15 times. And I've seen them at county fairs. I've seen them at real venues. But I love the Scorpions.
I love them too.
If you say anything bad about the Scorpions, I'll fight you.
Oh, well,
And Fish,
Blackout.
too.
Blackout is one of the best, not heavy metal, but rock heavy metal albums. Like that era where, there's singing, guitar playing. It's unbelievable. Like, Blackout is just an unbelievable record. Oh my God.
Absolutely. Who else? I've seen Slayer at least 25 times. I've seen Ozzy more times than his wife.
Godless. Godless. I saw Public Enemy live for It Takes a Nation of Millions to hold us back.
Oh, that's crazy. That's awesome.
It was in Toronto. It was so badass. It was life-changing. Dude, it was amazing.
That's awesome. I haven't been to too many hip-hop shows. I saw Snoop Dogg light a joint so big in what used to be called the Staples Center that I'd never seen a joint so big. But my ex-wife took me to my first hip-hop show, and Nas, the rapper, jumped out of a helicopter and screamed "fuck Fox News" for 20 minutes. I had no idea what was going on. Then he showed his interview with Bill O'Reilly, and then for another 20 minutes the whole crowd was screaming "fuck Fox News," solidifying every person being a Democrat for life in that stadium. But
I've actually only gone to like 4 concerts in my life, and that's just because of my extreme aversion to crowds.
Really? Purple, in my life, being a musician and stuff, I've played 50 shows where there was at least 5,000 people in the audience. It's completely the opposite.
That's
but
awesome.
With my aversion to like Purple knows, I get social anxiety to the point where I can't even go on our Discord server. I just clam up. I call it turtle mode, right? But when you're on stage or you're doing a live show like we are now, it's not the same thing.
Well, see, if I was going to be up on stage, that would be very different, because then you've got a clean exit. If you're stuck down there in the crowd, getting to an exit can be a big issue, and that just triggers my anxiety beyond control.
Okay, so I know this isn't a good answer, but I got rid of my season tickets because Isaiah can't stand the Staples Center, which is now called Crypto Arena. I will say that and accept it one day. But anyways, I'm a hardcore hockey fan. What I do, because I have a bit of anxiety, but I know this isn't a good answer, pay for good seats. Pay for really good seats. And you'll be either near like the main entrance, or you'll be the first one out because you have the best seats in the house.
Dude, you just about did Grover near and far based on hockey. You realize that, right?
My heater's starting up, but yeah, totally. Oh no, man. I have social anxiety, but I want to go to a show. I want to see my team play. The Dodgers, hey, how's it going, Robert X? The Dodgers won the series. You know, I had to go to a playoff game. I was like, no, I will spend a paycheck on this because this is a once in a lifetime experience, you know. But I paid for really, really good seats, so I could run when the game was over.
Nice.
Yeah. Yeah, I can't deal with that trapped feeling. I've got to know that I can get out of there if I need to.
Do you know in LA, the worst part isn't being in the stadium, it's the 3 hours you spend in the parking lot. Because I live in a city with 10 million people just in my county. Hey,
can I share a music trivia just because we were talking about autism and stuff? I just thought of something really cool. Gary Newman is totally on the autism spectrum. And that's why, you know, for his song Cars, you know, here in my car, I feel safest of all. He was literally describing the feeling of driving in a busy city and sitting in his car going, thank fuck I don't have to interact with everyone around me. Yeah. And that's why he has that odd persona in the videos and stuff, because he's just weirded right out going, seriously, I have to do this. And to me, that's even more of a reason why Gary Newman's Cars kicks ass, because he overcame and stood up anyway and did it. Right, Purple?
Yep. Yeah, well, yeah, your own personal steel shell there. You feel protected.
Yep.
Wrong button. I was sending love to Robert X. You know what? I'm not on the spectrum, but I have my moments too. And I miss going to festivals and stuff, but I don't know if I could hang with my lung issues. I don't know if I'll ever go in a large crowd again. Because you know, I got a call. They're like, "Oh, you have all your shots. You can go to a Kings game." And I'm like, I don't know if I want to go.
Yeah, unfortunately, I'm kind of at that point too, that, you know, I was kind of coming around to the idea and then I got the COVID. So yeah, now I'm kind of questioning, you know, am I going to feel safe doing group events at any point? Because I don't want to put up with that shit again.
Here in LA, they made a law where you cannot go into a restaurant if you don't have a Vax card. No one is enforcing it. No one.
Wow.
Well, and that's the same problem here. It's like, you know, we've got signs all over the building that you've got to wear a mask anytime you're in the public areas, but no one enforces it, and 3/4 of the people aren't doing it.
Really? Really?
Yeah.
Up where I live in a town of only like 30,000, and I swear, like once a month, we run into an anti-masker in the grocery store. And somebody like me or some other loudy mouth kind of like, you know, I'm 6 foot tall, 190 pounds. I got long hair down to my ass. I'm kind of intimidating when I raise my fucking voice. And anybody that watches the shills has known I'll raise my fucking voice, right? But, you know, when somebody pulls anti-max bullshit in our stores, there's always somebody like me who will say, hey, you put that shit on or I'll grab you by the scruff of the neck and drag you the fuck out of here as fast as you can say, what the fuck just happened? And yeah, we're all over it up here. Maybe it's a small town thing, or like maybe my experience as a musician when I was in like the darker sides of big cities. When you're down in the back alley smoking a joint behind the bar, you don't really get that tough until you know where you are, right? So I get that, but at the same time, if you don't stand up, who will, right?
Oh, same thing happens in LA. Same thing. You will get called out. But I live in the land of Karens. There's a lot of fights. And I'm in a local Facebook group. Almost every day someone posts their saga at the grocery store because some idiot had a meltdown because they had to wear a mask.
Wow. Oh, a meltdown over a mask?
Grown-ass adults.
Like,
grown-ass adults. And again, we've been wearing masks for 2 years at this point. Like, it's normal. I'm sorry. I hate to say it, but like, it's just, I feel naked if I leave the house without my mask now,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Even though I have 15 of them in my car on purpose.
Like I said, I've been using mine, even when I just went through the corridors from my apartment upstairs to Sloth Girls, I was wearing mine every day.
I think the problem is, and I can only speak for my brethren, Americans think they're invincible. I've grown up around people like that. I've known people like that. They can't see beyond their own fishbowl. And I get it. We're not. I was born immunocompromised. I know I'm not invincible. I know I can get sick at the drop of a hat.
Well, it's not even so much them feeling they're invincible as them feeling that they don't have to take any responsibility for anyone else around them. The whole idea of a mask is not so much to protect me, it's to protect the other people that I breathe on. And that's the part of it that people are opposing, is that they don't want to take any responsibility for doing something that could help their neighbor because it's a mild inconvenience.
Are you kidding me? I waited my whole life to walk around like the Lone Ranger, and I finally get to wear my cowboy hat and a mask at the same time. It's amazing.
Yeah, everybody's so eager to get back to normal, and I was never keen on normal to begin with. I'm quite happy about the idea of everybody stay locked up in your house and only go out once a week and, get your supplies and go back home and hide.
For the first time in my life, people are actually respecting my space. In LA, people are kind of like, they're close talkers, or they'll like come up behind you. No, that doesn't go on at all anymore. Everybody keeps their 5 foot distance.
Yeah. Well, and I get part of people's objection to everybody wearing the mask of not seeing people's faces, but I always sucked at reading facial expressions anyway. So again, everybody wearing the mask kind of levels the playing field for me.
It's actually, with my patches and really insecure people, it's almost started a couple fights, but for the most, same. Most people just mind their own business. But you can't read facial expressions. So it's different. I live in LA. Yeah. There's always that weird insecure person trying to pick a fight.
Well, because I never learned to read facial expressions or body language, I never learned to copy it. So my expressions throw other people off. People constantly misread me because they're reading things into my expressions or my posture that I was never aware of.
No, I know that one.
In LA, it's the are you mad dogging me? Are you mad dogging me thing? Well, but with the mask on, all you can see is someone's eyeballs.
Well,
but hold on. Also, it goes the other way, Purple, is because you're not aware of what you're projecting, you're also having a hard time reading. And as such, there's a disconnect in some sorts of let's say sarcasm and so on and whatnot that we just don't quite get all the time.
Yeah. Well, and another thing I've had with it is I also have the Tourette's. And from about the time I started high school, I had a bad facial tic that I spent about 5 years consciously trying to suppress my facial expressions because it was the only way to control that tic.
Oh shit.
It's kept the I having, because of my asthma and the fact that I'll catch a cold just by looking at people, wearing a mask has actually improved my health. You know, and people
Yeah,
actually,
Mage, I'm also extremely light sensitive, so yeah, I'm pretty much wearing sunglasses anytime I'm outside too.
man, you gotta get yourself a big floppy hat. I wear my cowboy hat and my
Well,
mask. I look
I've
like
got wraparound sunglasses because even the sun, coming in from the sides is too much for me. And like, Sloth Girl's commented on this a number of times that I'll still be wearing my sunglasses even when I'm turning the car's headlights on. I'm turning the
Sloth Girl is
headlights
a
on
riot.
because everyone else is doing it. I don't need the light.
I just want to take a moment and give a plug to the Sloth Girl. She's one of the most undersung heroes of words in this community. She's absolutely hilarious when you get to know her, and she shares some of her witticisms. She's really something else.
Oh yeah,
I'm
got
taking
she's
it.
got good humor.
I'm taking it after Jenny because Sloth Girl is a hero to my son, because hanging on my wall is an old school Albert Einstein action figure that Sloth Girl procured and sent my way, and it's hanging on my living room wall, and my son thinks it's the greatest thing ever. And anybody who shows up that doesn't know who he is gets fucking told. And it's fucking awesome. And it's on my wall thanks to Sloth Girl. That's how cool she
Yeah, because
is.
she was watching one of the Shill streams and you said something about it, so she went and hunted that down.
That was the greatest thing in like it means everything in my world with my son and whatnot. It's one of our literal prized possessions.
Mm-hmm.
It's huge. It's words escape the importance. It's so cool, right?
That's good. Yeah, I never imagined it would be such a big deal, but I'm glad that you and your son are getting so much out of it.
Oh, it has a prominent place in the living room, and those that do not understand are looked down upon. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not kidding. It's huge. It's everything, Oh, it's good. It makes my life a happy place.
oh, how's it going, Irish Swede?
Oh, hey, Swede.
There's a real reason why people don't talk shit to me in public. It's because I look like this. and I'm 215.
Yeah, you really do look like a Western bandit that way.
I've waited my whole life to look like the Lone Ranger. I grew up on crappy Westerns. I love the Mask era. I absolutely love the Mask era.
Look at this.
Oh. And Isaiah has a cowboy hat too. We're known. He had his hat.
You get.
What's up?
I want some. Clint Eastwood lines like, "What do you do for a living? I'm a bounty hunter. Dying ain't much of a living, boy."
Oh,
come on.
I love quoting John Wayne. I won't shoot you.
There we go.
But old Stumpy will. I absolutely love John Wayne. Again, I grew up on John Wayne movies. Do you know who was it? John Wayne, Humphrey Bogart. They defeated Hitler from Burbank Studios. Those guys made more movies from like 1940 on.
My favorite John Wayne scene, I'm thinking it was from Rooster Cogburn, but the movies kind of blur together. But just at the end of this one movie, he marches into the saloon, he grabs the girl off the stage and throws her over his shoulder, And as he's walking out, this old lady on the boardwalk just looks at him and says, "Well, I never." And he just looks her straight down and says, "No, ma'am, don't expect you ever have."
That's what I'm saying. You don't have to respect your elders. You just have to respect your betters. Like some of those lines, those are the greatest lines ever. I'm giving away secrets, but like I quote John Wayne all the time, and people are like, "Wow, that's so original. That's so this or that." And I'm like, "You have no." I'm literally
Sewing. You know what? I use Sinatra all the time.
Yeah, and to be fair, this is the one problem I have with the mask, is that in the cold weather, walking into the stores, my glasses fog up.
I will say for the longest time, it was weird to walk into the bank with my hat, my mask, my patches on. It was the weirdest thing.
Yeah.
But with my hat on, everyone in my town, I'm the only person of my color that wears a cowboy hat, so everybody knows who I am, where I'm from.
But dude, on the outside, your physical, the way you look right now, you stomping in, doing your thing, you look pretty intimidating, and yet you're a real cool cat, right? So you've got that thing where I bet there's been situations where people look up and go, "Oh," and they just stop. Whereas if it wasn't you, there might have been more of a situation.
Oh,
right?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. And I'm nice, but I learned that from my elders. Like, you don't have to be an
asshole to be able to stop the situation, right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
There was one time this kid hit me in my truck, and I laugh still to this day because he totaled his Eclipse, and I have a 1988 Ford F-150. I literally walked up and plunged the dent out. But like, we were exchanging information, and I'm like, "All right, you park over there." And this, I didn't see that there was a cop watching the whole thing. He pulled up. He's like, "You got a handle of this," and he turned around and drove off. Yeah. But really, I'm just one of those people. I'll speak up.
But there's no point in being an outright asshole just because you can take command of a situation.
No.
Right?
No, and
but there's every reason to stand up when it's actually your moment to. And knowing the difference is the difference between being an asshole and being a citizen who can actually make a difference. There's a huge... Absolutely. You see what I mean, right? And guys like you and I, we got that. I wish if so many other people could. Do you see where we would be? Because these little protests and these anti-mask things that come up, 2 or 3 guys like you and I would just walk up and be like, "Yeah, no, you're done. Come on, it's time to go."
Put an effing mask on, guy. Don't be such a baby. Because really, I come at like because I do have moments, because I look at people like, bro, you're an able-bodied grown-ass adult. Why can't you just effing put a mask on? Because I know that person is probably not vaccinated too.
Exactly. It goes hand in hand. As soon as you go into the anti-mask, anti-vax, you're into the conspiracy mindset, and it goes hand. You know where that goes, right?
Oh yeah. And out here, someone will say something, but I just look at them like, "Come on, guy, don't be a baby." Usually I look at them like really? Yeah. There was one guy where I was like, "Oh, bro, don't be a baby." And he turned around and he's like, "All right." He was getting ready to say something. He saw me. But, usually I'm with my son, and I'm not, I don't know. I don't get people anymore. I don't.
Yeah, my son's 14 and he's 6'1". So, when somebody turns around now and looks at us, they're like, "Ah, shit," because there's 2 of them, right?
Same. Isaiah is $170 right now. Like, that was my adult weight when I was in my beanpole phase, So
yeah,
same thing.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. You know, I
And
will say, though,
myself, I was into martial arts when I was 14, 15, 16, Taekwondo, right? So, you know, I know that I don't have to get into some street fighting boxing situation. I can just take care of the moment really quick and go, see, I told you, you don't want to do this. And, you know, boom, move on, right?
oh, same thing.
But-
Same thing. And
Yeah.
that's another thing. Like, I'm not here to fight somebody. Even if they were to come at me,
No.
I'd pin them down and be like, bro, like, I'll hurt you.
Yeah, it's about ending it fast and making sure that they understand that this is not what they want to do, right?
And
Good night,
gosh,
Jen.
this was 100 years ago. But like I used to teach self-defense at the LGBTQIA Center 20 years ago. And, you know, I would tell them, like, first and foremost, you're not trying to get in a 12-bound route with somebody, you know. Just let them know that, you know, you'll take them out. You're going through a rough time. You will take them out, you know.
Swede,
Yeah.
on the chat, Swede, that was a great statistic. I liked reading that.
Doorknob head in the chat says people watch Dick and his family walk down the street. Oh no, the Dawsons, they're spreading.
Yeah, I was about to click on that one.
I always tell my son, I'm like, because Isaiah is going to be bigger than me. And I always tell him, I'm like, dude, you're going to be the enforcer in our biker gang, dude. Like, he's getting big. And you know what? I get along with my ex-wife. I hang out with her husband. He's like an actual friend of mine.
Oh, we're in foreign territory now.
And all the time, like, because we're almost the same size. And like, we just look at each other like, dude, this guy's going to be bigger than both of us. Like, he's going to be way bigger than all of us. So we teach him, like, hey, man, like, don't let people pick on you and don't be the bully. You know, you got to have
good
that,
lessons.
you got to have that balance, you know, because once
You
you realize you have power, you can easily become the bully and still think you're the good guy.
Dude, the worst thing you can have is a tough teenager that doesn't understand restraint. Oh my God. Right? Like my son is 6'1" and he's like 190 pounds and he's 14 years old and he's on the spectrum. Mm-hmm. If he wanted to, he could just flatten somebody who fucking picks on him. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But he's
I gotta hang up
soft.
my headset for a minute. I'll be back.
Okay.
Okay, cool. But he's soft and gentle, right? You know, like you got to do it, right? You know, there has to be restraint. But at the same time, he's seen a couple of times where dad steps up and says, hey, that's not happening. You know, so he does know where that line is. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
And he understands that he can be that line because people look at him and go, Jesus Christ, you know, like you're big, you know, so, you know.
Oh, Sarah,
right?
You're always considered nice. No, same thing with my son, like, cause he's noticing, I never talked to him like he was a baby.
How old is your sewing?
He's 12.
Okay.
And he's 5'6", 5'7" at 12 years old.
And what's his weight?
He's $170.
Oh, wow.
But he's doing this where he's going like this and then getting taller and he's going like this.
Yeah.
It's the puberty,
Well,
you know.
It sounds to me like he's the proverbial brick shithouse. Like,
dude,
that's a tough kid.
He's gonna be huge.
Yeah.
Again, my ex-wife, her husband and I, we get along. We got boxing gloves and everything, you know. You can come say hi and show his hair. His hair needs to be cut.
He's my kind of kid. He's my kind of kid.
He's got the COVID fro going right now.
Yeah.
But
dude, You guys gotta join us over on the Shill Show coming up. Amy and I are gonna start in like 2 weeks, and we're gonna do the autism show, and it's just a big free for all hangout, and it's gonna be, you know, real world, lay it on the line, tell it how it is, show it how it is. You know what I mean?
I grew up and work in the field as well. So
I know.
It's definitely one of those things. I'm definitely biased when it comes to any kind of special needs.
Oh, you're like Amy and I are looking to you to be somebody who like is a permanent fixture on the show with us. You know,
get the DSM-4 and 5 and whatever it is from the ranch. I got all the paperwork and everything. No, because I would constantly hear people reference it online, and I'm like, dude, I know we have one of those at the job, you know.
Oh, we want to have you like as a regular on this show coming up, because your opinion would really, really, really carry weight, and we want to do a thing where it's, you know, imagine if we could all get together with the kids in a pub, but it wasn't a pub, it was our private space to do what we want to do. And it's sort of a pub at the same time because we're all having a couple. And, but you know what I mean? Like, that's what we're trying to do, right? You know? Down. Yeah, I really think you'll groove to it and join us. And I hope you do, because there's room for some serious, like, we could bring a lot of real to the discussion, you know, and still have it be fun as hell.
That's my thing, is about enjoying life and enjoying, you know.
Yeah.
Because I think sometimes we wait. I don't know. I think because I've grown up, I have a way older family, so I have the advantage of having objectivity. Don't waste your life. It's all I got. So I live my life like that, you know. And even for as much as I'm like, you know, hey, what are you doing? I'm up in my kids' school and everything like that. We recently made ballistics gel, and he got the ingredients off the internet and everything, and I'm like, Knox gel? I know what Knox gel is. We went to our local grocery store and went and got it, and he made actual ballistics gel, and we shot it, you know.
No way. That's awesome. Dude,
I have a ton of pictures. When Purple comes back, I'll share a.
That's badass.
But I was so impressed that my son, like, you know, because he's getting older, and I am the definition of a helicopter parent. So I have to learn how to back off, you know.
Godless, we're the plan is coming up in just a couple of weeks. The autism show will be a 1-hour show live on Tuesday nights, 4 p.m. Pacific, 7 p.m. Eastern. Does that work for you?
Yeah. Just hit me up on Twitter. But yeah, totally. Because we're not doing anything on Tuesday nights. Now that I think
you guys, I gotta take off. I'm dropping out here.
Okay, Jen.
Creepy as fuck. It was a really good show. I enjoyed you guys very much.
Jenny,
tonight.
you get some good sleep.
Great chatting with you, Jenny.
Bye. Kisses to you all, chat.
Take care.
Bye, Dick.
Good night. Okay, Dick, I was just coming back in the room when you were saying that. What night did you say you're going to do the autism show?
Tuesday. We were thinking Tuesday. We would do it at 4 p.m. Pacific, 7 p.m. Eastern. And it would be like a 1-hour show. We don't want to take it so it's too long and too much because, you know, people on and so on and with the kids and whatnot, if we want to get them in there, you know, if you push too hard and drag too long, you miss your moment. But if we only do an hour, I think we got something, right? You know what I mean?
Yeah, my kid will tell me to fuck off real quick.
yeah, exactly, right? You
know, he gets bored with Pops is cool, but he gets bored with me real quick sometimes.
Yeah. Mine will be upstairs. He'd be like, "Fuck your action, Pops." You know exactly. Yeah.
I think that's good because I think Tuesday might be the only weeknight that I don't have a regularly scheduled event.
Hey, that's what I was thinking.
Okay.
That's the one day that I usually am like reading my World War II book or something. I just sent you
Okay.
3 pictures, Purple, of the ballistics gel that Isaiah made. I was so impressed because it worked. I'm all about function.
Here, hold on.
So impressed.
Purple, let me send the link to Amy, see if she's up, because that would be really cool right now.
Okay, do you
Oh,
have it, or
yeah.
do you need me to give you the link?
Yeah, no, I did it. It actually worked. I'm still capable. That's amazing. That's really good. But yeah, Amy already said Tuesday was a good day. So this will work out perfect, and we can start the autism show. What's today? The 13th. We should be able to start the autism show inside of 2 weeks.
No, I'm down. That sounds good.
Yeah. There we go. That'll be good.
Awesome.
And we'll do it so it's sort of like the original Muppet Show. Like it's just what the hell, right? You know what I mean?
Muppet Babies was awesome too back in the day.
Yep. Yeah. But you get it, right? It's like we just go from thing to thing. They buzz in, they buzz out, we react, we all have fun, but during it all, we do a little explaining. We do some sharing about how we, and so each episode, each kid does their own little thing. They do their flybys, they do their joins and stuff and whatnot. And then people can build on the experience as they watch a little bit. And we do it slow, but, we bring in the reality of it as well during the conversation, right? And if it's balanced so that it's a real hangout, just like hanging out, but at the same time, not just letting it happen, but talking about why it's happening, I think we can actually bridge a lot of gaps.
Absolutely. And I like anything else, exposure helps as well.
Yeah.
Because that's the one thing. Like I said, my town, most people that are from here or that live here have been exposed to people with special needs. So it's just part of everyday life, and I think if we were able to communicate something like that, it's amazing, because I've been to other cities where it's not like that. And it's almost scary.
Yeah.
I've been places where like people with special needs are targets. Or, if someone has braces or something or a wheelchair, like, someone's going to say something awful to you,
Yeah. And we can also have so many kind of open doors for this. I got to point out in Purple's chat, Mippet69 on the shills, like she's one of the shills, right? She says, so that's the 25th of January, right, Dick? And I'm like, yeah, Mippet, thanks for yet again showing why, I'm inadequate and you're, so much better than me. But it's true. Over on the Shills channel, we're like booking little guests and, we do our shows and we have to, find videos to debunk and stuff. And it takes a group effort, right? Yeah, and sometimes you don't quite, not everybody gets what it takes, but there's a core group that always makes sure everything's done, and Mippet's very, very much in the core.
Oh, I totally understand. On the flip side of that, that's one of the things when I started making my own videos, I started enjoying the fact that everything was dependent on me, that I didn't have to depend on anybody else,
Okay. Here's what Doc Will was saying about the ballistics.
Isaiah made that. I was so impressed.
What did it come as a powder that you mixed up, or?
Yeah. And
okay, I've seen him work with the stuff on Mythbusters.
He got it off of one of those weird tutorials on YouTube. We watched it over and over and over. And I have a bunch of Cuisinart stuff I never use. And he's like, can I use this? I was like, go ahead, bro. It's your
It
show.
looks like Pear's soap.
Oh, those are BBs in it. He was shooting it,
I thought
And-
those were slugs in there.
and he now he has one in my fridge right now that has bones because he was saving bones, and I was like, "What are you doing, bro? What are you doing?"
Oh,
And he's
I would have
like-
so done that. If I was going to do a ballistics dummy, I would have like saved a chicken carcass or something and put it in there.
And so Seraphimide is absolutely 100% correct. We do need skeleton. And in a weird conversation I was having with his mom this week, she's like, I have a skeleton mold. And I was like, really, bro? And she's like, I do. So now we're going to make a full ballistics half dummy.
I'll say this. The models on display would not cut the mustard in a German sex shop. I'm just saying.
Those are for shooting, not for effing,
So sorry, everybody, that I missed the side chat for a few minutes there.
But yeah, we go wild. We get Mr. Wizard in my house. My dad was one of those crazy people. Like when I was a kid, he got all the neighborhood kids together and he's like, you guys want to see something cool? He got a bunch of black ice and shoved it in an Arrowhead bottle. And he's like, all right, run. And that thing exploded everywhere, That was back in the 80s when you could make random explosions for no reason. But, so ever since my dad was an electrical engineer, he worked for NASA. So he was big on experiments, And so
that's cool.
Yeah. And so I'm the same with my kid. As long as if you ask him, you'll ask him, what's your dad's number one rule? He'll tell you, don't burn the house down. I start at don't burn the house down. And we can go from there. Yeah. Please, if you like living
it's an
here,
important point to cover.
That is literally my rule number one is please, we can do all kinds of dumb stuff. I'm down for experiments. I'm down. I got mixing bowls, all kinds of fancy stuff. I don't care. Just don't burn my house down. Don't. That's it.
Sewing. I was born in 70, right? And my dad caught on to the fact that I was kind of like a hands-on tinkerer, like rip a watch apart, that kind of kid, right? So he got a hold of the guys at the Radio Shack and whatnot and said, I'm looking for things that he can rip apart that are already dead, so I'm not buying him expensive things that he's killing, right?
That's awesome.
So so we had a little group that we could pull from, and I ended up with some cool electronic toys when I was young, and I had a soldering iron and stuff, and I really got to learn some basics and get into things. So by the time we had a Commodore VIC-20, I already understood the user port of the Commodore PET and stuff to the point where in BASIC, I was programming, things in and out and, receiving signals and stuff like people would do with a Raspberry Pi nowadays.
That's awesome.
Except I was doing it back then, man,
I have a rule.
It was cool,
Because I have a shop up at the ranch. It's an actual working shop, but most of the stuff in there is owned by me. And I have a rule, same in my garage, because I have a ton of tools in here. And my rule is, again, don't burn the house down, but my son can grab anything at any time, because I think it's important. My dad was the same way. He was like, don't turn on my welding machine and you can do whatever you want. That was my dad's rule, because he was more concerned about, plugging it in the wrong place.
Yeah.
And shutting down half the house. Power distribution was different back then, but I'm the same way. But
I've got a thing for hands-on mechanical and so on, engineering, electronics, I do resto of retro computers for people where I live.
Oh, that's
so
awesome.
somebody will bring me a VIC 20. I'll douse it in vinegar to dissipate the corrosion and whatnot, and we turn everything into a socket instead of a soldered on chip, and yada yada yada.
I have I'll ask you another day, but I have an old Apple IIe, one that looks brand new out of the box. The other one's kind of yellowed because my dad smoked like a literal choo-choo train.
Oh,
And that was the one he always had outside.
Will, from Sloth Girl, I can get you a couple of sites about how to restore that. She follows a couple of guys who do restorations of classic toys.
Oh,
and they've had stuff in that about how to get the yellowed plastic back to white.
It's easy. Yeah, I can show you too. I charge people like $1,000 to do a refurb on a VIC 20 motherboard and whatnot, and then retrobrite the plastics and stuff. It, like Purple is saying, there's some foolproof methods for this shit. It's not even for debate anymore, is it, Purple? It's you just do it this way and it works awesome.
Well, the technique that I've seen really good results with is putting them in a clear plastic container of hydrogen peroxide.
Yeah, you want the liquid outside in the sun
around it. Well, yeah, they were just like wrapping rope lights that gave off UV around it.
Well, if you can do the lights, but that's an extra expense. But if you do it outside, like I think Godless lives in an area where you can get some good sunlight, right?
We had sunshine.
Where I'm at, putting it outside isn't really an option.
That's right. It depends on where you are, right? Yeah.
I wanted to experiment with that and see how good that would work on restoring some Legos that have the UV discoloring.
Well, Purple, the 8-bit guy on YouTube has a great series where and his UV experiment is a really good thing because the UV, if done right in the solution, it does really work. But you're putting a lot of electricity and energy in, whereas if you're Godless Sewing, where you live with the sunlight and everything, you just put that shit outside, right?
Oh, hell my main problem is just being in an apartment building here. I can't set anything outside and be confident that somebody's not going to fuck with it while it's sitting out there for a couple hours.
That's true. Yeah.
And especially if it's got peroxide, that somebody's dog is going to get into it and poison themselves.
That's like here we have gangs of cats. Like they have their own gang signs, they have different streets and stuff. It's not the possums you have to worry about, it's the LA street cats. I also have a Singer, it's a retro sewing machine from the 60s. It has like the standard Partridge Family flower print on it. Whoever owned it smoked a million cigarettes. Because I grew up around smokers, you spot these kind of things. Yeah. I want to clean that as well because it'll literally add $300 to the value if I was just to get that stink off. Like I said, I've sold sewing machines for $900, $1,000. Like it just depends on like the saying goes, you always have to find a fanatic.
Oh, I've had
while we were on
I've had the same thing with retro computers. I've found Apple IIs with special video boards and stuff, and I'll do a total recap and totally once over the system, before I do anything with it. I found it at a recycle shop, so I give them $70 for it. And I sell it for $1,000.
Exactly.
And it takes me like 2 days of effort. So if somebody says to me, really, you play with old computers and you make money? Well, that paid me about $160 an hour to refurb. So who are you?
Oh,
right?
Same thing with the sewing machine. Like, that's why people are like, you sold a sewing machine for $200? You sold one for $100? Like, someone wants it. I got it. I'll ship it to you right now.
Yeah,
I've
man.
done a
Good
bit of that
price.
with the classic toys already. That's why I wanted to, try the stuff to get the discolored plastic back.
Yeah, big time.
But
Because-
It's all about the balance, right? If you've got a source for the product and you've got an outlet so that your efforts can make a profit on it,
Right.
therefore it is a worthy endeavor. That is
Most
how
of
it
it's-
works, right?
most of it's finding the
Absolutely.
audience, finding a customer base for it.
That's right.
I haven't said this in a while, but I used to say it all the time. I had a full run of Peter Parker, of the Amazing Spider-Man. Well, not of of the Avengers, and low numbers. I mean, like 79, and that paid for my divorce lawyer. I didn't want to get rid of
Godless,
it.
are
but it
you into
paid.
comics? Are you into
I-
comics?
If I was to pull out my long boxes, this would turn into a 6-hour stream.
Okay, hold
and
on.
Diana
Let
is
me-
not here.
Hold on. Let me ask you something. Do you know the name Igor Corday? He's a comic artist that did Marvel stuff in 90s.
No, maybe not.
He
You
did.
know what? I've met a few comic artists, and I'll tell you a crazy story after. I met this really eccentric guy who, because I was when I was selling my comics, when I got divorced, like people were they were like, they'd call my number and they're like, "You really have this number?" I sold one book for $400.
Yep.
But people were like, "You really?" I was planning on dying with the stuff, but divorce lawyers are expensive.
Yep.
Really expensive, But
I used to do tech support for a guy who was a Marvel artist.
crazy. I meant
Yeah, for a bunch.
they're eccentric.
Well, this guy did like Tarzan comics and stuff and whatnot, and he did cover art for the European edition of the Lord of the Rings novels and all
that's
kinds of stuff. He was a real, badass commercial artist, right? And his personal life was an interesting thing.
Exactly.
Right. So he lived in the town that I lived in, and he was leaving, right? So he gave me a stack of his original pen and ink artworks for Marvel comics and stuff, right?
That's right. You mentioned
And-
those.
Yeah. And he said, look, you sell these and you give her to, make sure the kids can stay in school until the school year's out, and then everybody can move, and, keep a percentage for yourself. So I sold a whole whack of his crap. And at this point, I have I've never read a comic book, but there was, Cable. He wrote Cable.
Oh, really? Are you kidding?
Right?
That's hardcore X-Men. That's like
Yeah. And
hardcore.
and
You see my face?
and so
Like I used to read those. That's awesome.
I sold his pen and ink original drawings for Cable for $7,000 on eBay to a guy, and gave his wife $5,000 and kept a bit or whatever. I don't remember how it worked now. It's a bunch of years ago, right? But I still have some of these, and I've got one of Storm, and it's a full page, it's like,
Awesome.
yeah, and it's a pen and ink of it, and right, and I've got Tarzan, the Tales of Mugambi, right?
That's
Dude,
love
hold
comics.
on.
love
I have every color page that went to print, original artist from Tales of Mugambi.
That's
have
nuts.
the original pages.
That's fucking nuts, man. That's nuts.
Yeah.
Like I said, I was a huge comic book collector until I got divorced, and it kind of breaks my heart because I always planned on taking that money and running to an island and not having to wear clothes again. but But instead, I had to sue my ex-wife. Oh wow! No, I'm hardcore into comics. I have every run.
What I want to do. What I want to do is I want to scan what I have left of the collection, right? And I want to make it so that it's downloadable in the Discord because I don't want to make it a profit situation at this point. I want to make it a shareable situation. I have the originals and they'll go to my son, but it doesn't mean that everybody else can't, have a digital version to go, yeah, that's cool, right? Why not?
I did that with my I had an entire run of the Teen Titans, and when I was younger, I was smart enough, but keep in mind back in the day comics were like 50 cents if they were really popular, 40 cents if no one knew. So I get doubles. I would get doubles of everything because my older brother is a collector. He had his run. You could buy a house off of his runs. But like
sewing, I knew this guy, the artist, before my son was born. This is like 17 years ago,
that's
right?
Awesome.
Yeah,
that's awesome. I sold all my Teen Titan doubles because I was like, somebody else needs to enjoy this, Like, because I remember as a grommet, like loving these comic books. But I'll tell you, when Isaiah was younger, I had a gaggle of Star Trek toys. I mean, over 50. I had Guinan. I had everything in the box. Okay, let me show you something. One day, Isaiah has ASD, and he found my box. And I was doing something, being a busy parent, and he took all my Star Trek toys out of the box. And I've been hoarding them for 20-something years. And I was like, you know what? What am I waiting for? Why am I an old man with boxes of toys just sitting in the closet, So I've sold off a lot of my sci-fi stuff, but I have a ton of original Star Trek. I was in the Star Trek fan club. I know that shocks some people. I know that's a big shocker, but I still have all my old Star Trek, all my fan club stuff and all the magazines you get every month. I have like full posters of Michael Dorn and and Patrick Stewart. It's awesome stuff.
I got into the
That's
Transformers
totally cool.
when the original series was on TV. And then I was kind of slow to warm up to the Beast Wars, but eventually I got into that one.
I loved Beast Wars. I absolutely
unfortunately, I had to sell off a lot of my stuff. When I was with my fiance, we were really struggling. She was on the verge of declaring bankruptcy again. So I had to sell off a lot of my collections.
Oh, life, man. It's more important than the stuff we collect,
Yeah.
When you say original Transformers, do you mean like the 80s cartoon?
Yep.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
Yeah. The stuff from 84 to 87.
Because I'm like a hardcore picker, those are the kinds of things I keep my eyes out when I go to estate sales. And when I go to like certain shops where I know the people don't know what they have.
Yeah, I watch for that kind of stuff a lot too. The one thing I did hold on to is I have a set of the original Dinobots.
Oh, nice.
I had to keep those. But I was not one to. I wasn't good about keeping toys in package. I think that's just wrong.
Neither was I.
If the toys, you got to open them up and play with them.
I'm a real life Ferengi, even though I always call myself a Klingon because that's just my attitude. I'm a real life Ferengi where I'm like, well, this has sentimental value, but it also has a price. There are certain things like I would never say, I don't know. Like I have a Londo Malari. I have a Babylon 5 Londo Malari still in the box. It's over there somewhere. I don't think I'd sell that.
I had a whole mess of the original first release Star Wars figures because I was 14 when the first movie came out.
I am.
And when I went away to school out of state, They were in my parents' attic, and one of my nephews got them. Nobody will own up to it, but they're gone now.
Oh,
But I had the Star Wars figures. I had a bunch of the original Battlestar Galactica figures when they came out. I even had a couple of
Cool.
Vipers and the Cylon Raiders that actually shot the
Oh.
missiles before they got recalled.
oh wow.
Yeah, so did I, Purple. I had the Viper and the Cylon ship, and they could shoot and whatnot. And
Yep, I
then
had
I
3 of each
remember
of
it
those.
hitting the news and everybody freaking out. And oh yeah, I remember the whole thing.
Oh, Irish Sweet, I am a dirty capitalist. And you know, my I'm still mad to this day. When I was a kid, I was the youngest out of all the boys in the neighborhood. So I got every hand-me-down G.I. Joe. I had every G.I. Joe you could possibly think of. I mean, Refrigerator Perry, Sergeant Slaughter, all the rare
Yeah.
ones, all of
Yeah.
them. And I asked my mom all the time, I'm like, out of everything that is in my mom's house, there's stuff still there from the 80s, 90s. I can't find my G.I. Joes. Somebody was smart and took them and sold them, I bet. Somebody was really smart because I had everything. I had hundreds and hundreds of them. I had the bases. I had everything because I was the youngest boy in the neighborhood. So I was literally 5 to 6 years younger than everybody else. So they just gave me all their stuff.
That should have been one of the early clues to people that I wasn't quite what I seemed as a kid. About the only time I remember playing with G.I. Joes, I took a couple of my sister's Barbies and they beat up G.I. Joe and stole his Jeep.
I was obsessed. That's why propaganda works. That's why when Sergeant Slaughter started following me on Twitter, I called my brother and I was like, "Look, you mother effer, look."
That's funny.
Sergeant Slaughter, and he was like, "What?" We had a moment. He was like, "Are you kidding me? That's crazy, you know?" Because I used to watch him when I was a little kid.
Yeah, me too. Yeah.
So he started following me on Twitter, and I was like, "Wow, that's awesome!" And he still follows me too.
You know, that's like having Rowdy Roddy Piper or something follow you, right? You know, or Ric Flair. You know,
Oh,
come
man.
on.
Oh, those were my
Yeah.
when I was a kid. Like, you know, that's what you did. What I did on
Yeah.
a Saturday night.
About
or,
2 years ago from my online Lego store, I got an order from Michael Nesbitt of the Monkees.
Oh, awesome!
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so I had to send out a package to him.
Was it somewhere in California?
Yeah, the address is here somewhere, but didn't pay
'Cause
too
he-
much attention to it.
One of those guys used to live in my town, but they recently passed away.
Yeah, Michael Nesbitt passed away over the summer, just a few months ago.
Yeah, that sucks.
I think he lived in my town. But you know, like between Phoenix, Arizona, and LA, like every retired famous person, you know, like when I lived in Mesa, well, I don't want to, I just did. I used to live by Alex Cooper when I lived in Arizona.
Cool.
And I discovered like a lot of old retired sports stars, a lot of, retired people live in Arizona, LA, for the sunshine.
Makes sense.
There's a lot of famous people around here. That's why, like, I always laugh when someone gets like really like uppity online, and I'm like, dude, like, I live near famous people, and like, I have a regular Joe Schmo job, and I'm there on movies, and they live in my neighborhood. Like, I guess famous relative is what I'm trying to spit out.
Okay, now I feel very bad for Aunt Jur. Yeah,
I
I was
sorry
in
guys,
comics
but
in the 80s and 90s, but I was on the starving student budget, so I couldn't really afford to buy them. I just stood around in the newsstand and read them there.
that'll do it. My little guy, not so little guy, 6'1", is up in 7 hours. I got a bit of do and say farewell. So but thanks for having me over, Purple. I
Well,
always
actually,
like coming
I'm running
over.
down myself. This would be a good time for us to wrap up here.
Oh, there you
we
go.
have been going nearly 4 hours.
I'm gonna go make something spectacular in the kitchen.
That
Okay,
was
so, well, Dick, you have anything you want to chill out before you go?
well, coming up in 2 weeks, starting in 2 weeks over on the Shills channel, the autism show is starting up again, and this time it's going to be a proper, it's just going to be like pub chat with the Shills, but it's going to be autism pub chat with the Shills. You're going to love it. Don't hold back. Get your fucking ass over there and enjoy it.
Hell yeah.
Looking forward to it. Yeah, I've been waiting for you to bring that back.
Can't wait.
I
Okay,
have to
Will.
look up. Oh, hold on 1 second. I have to look up my last video because I'm so consistent. Oh, okay. How's it going? I'm Godless Sewing of the Godless Sewing channel. Go subscribe to the Godless Sewing channel. Right now, I have a video up about how to make a kufi. It's an African hat. You can watch me just have the time of my life. My channel is all about sewing. Come on down. I'm an atheist, but we all are. So I'm all about every other topic but. So come on down to the Godless Sewing channel. Have a good time. And like Sweet said, I am a dirty capitalist. So come check me out. Godless Sewing, Godless Sewing.
Okay, yeah, and the shows will be on tomorrow night at 6 for pub chat, and then the regular Shills show Saturday at 6. Is that going to be, Dick?
Yeah, same time as pub chat.
Yeah.
Shills will be, who knows what we're going to talk. I always thought we'd go into like witches and crystals and stuff or some bullshit like that. Who knows? Right?
Okay, that's cool. I was in the pagan community for 25 years. I really studied all that stuff.
Oh, okay. Yeah. PM me tomorrow because the idea was tomorrow we were going to go into, because I was going to do for the intro of the show a little Monty Python burner anyway or something, right?
Well, I was into the paganism, but I took a very scientific approach to that too. And that's what finally got me out of it, was being disappointed that I could never get consistent results.
Oh, yeah. Okay. This is what we're doing then. This is awesome. Good. Awesome. All right. Cool.
Okay. Well, and of course, I will be back next week, Wednesday at noon and Thursday at 10 p.m. And with that, I need to thank all my Patreon supporters who are paying for the StreamYards for me, and a little extra money coming in that I'm going to be talking to Jyuni about some more artwork. Jyuni the Apostate is one of my supporters and also has done my avatar and basically all the artwork that I have for the channel at this point.
Cool.
X from the Utah Outcast, Vonrick, Robert X, who is in the side chat here, Ox, who is with us tonight, the Lavender Lady, Greg Hartwick, and Dog. So, I do appreciate each of you sending me a couple bucks a month so I can keep doing this without it being money out of my pocket. And I can donate my time to it. I don't have a lot of money, so really appreciate the help.
Awesome.
So with that, we will bid you all a good night.
Take
Night
care,
all.
fellow baby.